Hey, how's it going? This is Rosebud, and I am playing Disco Elysium. This is part 4. And I'm on the second game in the day. So I'll take a look and see what quests and stuff that I have open that I need to do today when we get the game loaded up here. Okay, so I guess I left off at this lady's. I think I'm gonna go and unplug the ice cream cooler and see if that helps to get it open. I guess I'll check up here. And can I open it?
As before, an iron safety curtain curves before your eyes. It covers half the room, blocking the way into a colossal industrial chimney. This is directly above the central furnace in the cellar. The voices probably came from here. Again, your voice becomes a raspy croak mid-sentence. It's silent in the abandon of... You took your shot and still missed. Well, you did your best, champ. Shame.
Okay. So I still can't yell to get hold of anybody in there. Let's see. I think I got everything in this room. Cooper, get up here, buddy.
This orange machine is buzzing like an old submarine. It has a hand-cranked ice cream churner on top and an electric freezer that appears to be frozen shut.
And I only have 3% chance. Alright, let's check the breaker box.
2 cables are plugged into the breaker box. The red one leads to the ice bear fridge and the black one to the ice cream maker nearby.
Let's unplug the ice cream maker.
Something close to you dies with a soft electric purr.
Why did you do that?
Because it's black, the color of immeasurable cosmos.
The lieutenant raises his brows, but doesn't say anything.
Alright, so we'll come back at a later time and see if I can get into that cooler. Oh, wait, what's this? The street sign reads, blank the police. Alright, let me take a look at my notebook, my journal. Alright. Buy fallen pants from Kuno. Find Morel the cryptozoologist. Find Speed and sniff it. Okay. You need more speed in your bloodstream. Find some, put it in your hand, equip it in the held slot in your inventory, and off we go. I'm not ready to do the authority thing yet. Okay, call Alice back. Okay, so I still need to find a way into the chimney. Alright, well I already sent the body to processing, so I can't get the boots. Wait till later to do that. Let's go see if I can try to talk to this cook again. The tomatoes are so thinly sliced you can see through them.
The man ponders his cooking utensils and gives you a little nod, acknowledging your presence.
What is in the borscht you're making there?
The man says a couple of sentences in that strange language of his, and then seems to wait for you to speak.
Sorry, I don't understand you.
Just one word. Sounds quizzical. Then he awaits your answer with his brow arched.
No, shake your head.
Borscht need more vodka?
Vodka. He picks up a bottle from the shelf.
Okay, so it's vodka that keeps the men happy and in good spirits. Clever move by the Union.
Of course, vodka. Now that makes a very, very special borscht indeed. Turn it up and then ask for some yourself. Turning it up seems like a dangerous idea, honestly. The place is a powder keg. gives you a long, disappointed look, then turns the stove off and seems to wait for you to speak.
Do you know what's behind the door?
He looks up at you, then looks away quickly, shrugging and muttering something to himself. Shrugging is an international sign for, no, I don't know what's behind that door.
Leo said you're friends with Manana, is that true?
The mention of manana gets his attention. He smiles and delivers a whole slew of unfamiliar words and lively gestures. Then he falls silent again.
I don't think I need anything else. Stay masculine. Okay.
You see a heavy steel door with a prominent dimple lock. It's painted blue. The cobalt blue surface feels rough to touch. The stainless steel door is flush with its frame on every side. Old cobalt paint, rough on the fingers. 40, 50 years since this was painted maybe. It leads to a side building, adjacent to this one. The old building next to this, half ruined. Whatever is behind it must be older.
Can I help you?
Didn't I already
You're
pay?
already set for the night. Your door is unlocked.
Alright, let me see if I can show this picture around.
An intricate web of blue lines stretches across the torso of the... It still kind of looks like a map of the stars in the night sky, but something's not right.
Alright, well I guess that's all I can do in here for now. Where the heck am I going? Oh, there's somebody on the roof. Doesn't look like there's a ladder or anything. I wonder if there's a way to the roof.
Yes?
Alright, let's go back and talk to that Everett guy or whatever his name is. Thank you for the follow, legal pupil. And thank you for the follow, Mark of 50 HBM. How are you guys doing? guess this guy's not gonna jump again. So I have to find another way in. Let's see, did I have anything else to say to this kid here?
Fuck does Kuno care?
Nope.
Kuno doesn't.
Alright.
Looking for something?
Okay, I already told him everything. A Colossian magazine, most able-bodied men, the issue hosts the top 10 list.
Is this about the questions again? Because I don't really know anything.
Alright, she doesn't have anything else for me.
You see several packaged raincoats fill a low shelf beneath a display of croissants and juice bottles. The raincoats are transparent, except for the big Fritta slogan on the back. The packages are small, discreet, sloppily stacked, making them easier to take unnoticed. No need to worry about knocking over. A small cabinet on the wall is filled with various medicine bottles, nasal sprays, and blister packs. They all bear the Saint Baptiste Pharmaceutics logo.
Just ask me if you need anything from Saint Baptiste. We don't stock prescription meds, but we do have Nosafed, Duramine, Magnesium, and Hypnogamma.
Let's see. Dramamine is +3 health. Magnesium is morale. And the Hypnogamma is morale. Okay. I don't think I need any of that right now. I still have some.
Right to work! Right to work!
Alright. Nothing new there. See if this guy has anything new to add.
Hola, Wandering Man. How can I help you?
Do you know anything about the
Los
Hardy
Ardis?
Boys?
They're an independent militant group. A bit too high-strung, but it comes with the responsibility. They're sort of like you. Preserve the rule of law and all that. Except it's Everard's law. But really, they're just like you.
The weasel I visited, turns out he has one heck of a colonial mug collection.
Yeah, the janitor who gave me the key to his apartment said the guy's a bit of an asshole.
Yes, his mug collection certainly represented antiquated social values.
Like I said before, I don't know much about this weasel, but the bossman said he's a real piece of work. Thanks for helping out, friend.
Yes?
Alright. Actually, let's check and make sure we didn't miss anything in here.
The file cabinet stands steady as ever. The drawer slides
I
shut.
already looked at that. I don't think there's gonna be anything new in there.
This is the night watchman's booth.
Shipyard ahead is oddly quiet. The great machines are sleeping. See if this guy has anything else to say.
Oh, hey, mister. I'm not gonna bother you with a long greeting, just like we talked about before.
Okay, he doesn't have anything else to say. So let's go see about the boss guy.
Mr. Dubois, every worker...
Is a living god.
Ha ha ha! Mr. Dubois, so be it. How can I help you today?
I opened the door. You asked me. Can we discuss the murder now?
I'm very glad to hear that, Harry. One question. You didn't actually happen to stumble in and see what's inside the apartment, did you?
Let's see. Do I want to lie to him or do I want to tell him I saw the mugs?
Just as I thought. Culturally antiquated mug collection. What a weasel. Pissing on Everart's Rainbow Coalition. Now let's get down to brass tacks. It's time for men like me and you to figure out who's killed who and why. Real police work is gonna start happening now. I promise you, Harry, this is gonna be good.
I've heard a connection between the lynching and the strike. I'd like to hear what you know about.
By now, I'm sure you've figured out who the dead man was working for. The bad guys. Wild Pines. Sent to scare us. Another violent measure of the top hats against us flatcaps.
I'm listening.
Harry, this strike is the culmination of many, many mistakes made by the Wild Pines group. They tried to shut the strike down by sending in armed mercenaries.
You mean our victim?
A security contractor? Can you imagine that? Workers standing in peaceful protest, united in the spirit of fellowship, and they send hired killers to mow us down with machine gun fire?
He performs a motion as if spraying bullets from a machine gun.
I'm talking beasts. Hardened killers from proxy wars in Yisut, Semenine, Saramaritsa, you name it, they've done it. Raping, killing, burning villages, killing little children for the Senorita Pineapple Company, Harry.
Okay.
Everything they did there, they brought over here. They want to turn Revachol into a third world slum. Honestly, the only thing they didn't do is kill the village elephant.
It's probably a stupid question. Hold on, you have a village elephant.
No, Harry, the elephant is metaphorical and so is the village, but the mercs and their brutality are very real.
Go on.
Now, I haven't personally witnessed the brutalities out there. I have the luxury of staying in my container, you see. If I need to go somewhere, they just move my container.
Wait, they moved the container?
Yes, I'm an old man, Harry. My legs aren't what they used to be. They lift my office with that big crane. It's actually very fun. You should try it. But enough about me and my fun container. The killers the company hired, I think there were 3 of them, all hardened commando types. One of them got downright suicidal, getting drunk, violent, a little rapey. Even their own negotiator couldn't control him. That's your boy, the one who likes hanging out and trees.
By negotiator, you mean Joyce?
Harry, what you need to realize is, we dock workers are not pushovers. We got grit, Harry. This whole neighborhood does. Push us hard enough and we push back. And when we do, we push to kill.
Wait, the whole neighborhood is in on it? Who exactly did the pushing?
There's a militant wing inside the Union. A group of people whose duties don't involve manual labor, but peacekeeping in the neighborhood, making sure everything runs smoothly.
That sounds a bit like organized crime.
They're like you guys. Idealistic people who want to make sure bad things don't happen. And if they already have, well, punishment must follow.
Again, that sounds like organized crime.
So these idealists killed our victim?
One day Titus Hardy, leader of this peacekeeping faction, comes up to me and says, "Boss, socialist democratic fervor drove us to take it upon ourselves to kill this beast that was burdening the land." He probably worded it differently, but that was the idea. Sure sounded to me like they killed him. I gave them 2 weeks paid leave and told them to lay low to avoid retaliation.
Aren't you worried we might arrest them for this?
Oh, I'm not at all worried about that. These are not the kind of men who get arrested. They're Martinez boys, tough and gritty. I'd like to see the man who takes them in. Besides, I sent my lawyer girl to look after them.
Let's see. The mug collection I mentioned earlier was in the apartment. Found a similar mug in the trash with the hanged man's clothes. How do you know the mercenaries were hired by the shipping company? You mentioned a lawyer girl.
Oh, Liz is a bright one. I paid for that law degree myself, thinking it'll probably turn her all fancy. But hell, Harry, she came back a firebrand socialist. Sometimes she scares me with her zeal.
How do you know the mercenaries were hired by the shipping
How
company?
do I know? Let me tell you about these people. That's their MO. It's what they do. Last winter, some poor workers in Terminal E went on a little strike. The company sent in Sediment, a security contractor. The strike was over the workers' right to wear protective footwear, Harry. These guys turn up and start beating people. Tell you what, Harry, I wouldn't be surprised if we got the same mercenary company, after a little rebranding. And I'm sure as hell not surprised to see an army of scabs under my gates.
So you believe the scabs were organized by the security contractor?
You said it. Hell, one of those guys looks big enough to take down that proverbial elephant. Boys like that don't just happen to show up during strikes.
That does sound quite unlikely, yes. The big guy leading the scabs at the gate is colossal.
Tell me about the Titus Hardy and his crew.
Oh, they are simply fine young men, all 7 of them. Exemplary union members, always working to advance their position in the local socialist democratic movement. Core members. Old Theo used to run them, but things really kicked into gear when Titus took the reins and named the group after himself. Gotta love his initiative.
Interesting. Who's second in command?
They're almost all of them great guys, born leaders. Whatever happened, I'm sure they only had the best interests of Martinez and Revachol in mind. Work with them. Hell, interview them. But don't fight them. They really are just like you. Men who like beer, women, and some order on the streets.
The mug collection I mentioned earlier was in the apartment. I found a similar mug in the trash with the hangman's clothes.
Racist mugs in the trash and in the apartment? You guys are just light years ahead of me. I have so much confidence in the ability of your organization. I'm relieved you're doing this and leaving me to do what I do best. Helping people. With the power of politics.
Yes, yes. Do you think this weasel is somehow connected to the murder?
Oh, no. I don't cross paths like that. All I want is for you to succeed in your investigation. I would never complicate things for you.
But this weasel might have cleaned up after the killers.
Believe me, Harry, he's a nobody. Just your basement variety nobody. Can't imagine him being connected to a high-caliber case like this. But he does live nearby. Maybe it's a pedantic weasel. Fascists are known to be neat freaks. I feel like a real detective right now, Harry. Am I getting this right?
He imitates bashing something with an imaginary baton. There's more to police work than whacking an imaginary baton.
Of course, Harry. I'm not a real police officer. You are.
Everett, I've met these Hardys. Can you ask them to cooperate with me?
But of course! It's the least I can do for my good friend Harry. I'll do it right after we've concluded this talk.
You can now go and tell Titus about this. See what he has to say.
Also, Harry, here's 5 real.
He hands out a banknote.
The lieutenant
take
watches
it.
you pocket the banknote. He looks a little puzzled.
Good boy. A real team player. Now, do you have any more questions? Was it a good talk? I'm not sure we made much headway here. I was hoping we'd bust the case wide open. Heck, I even wanted to tell you what I really want to achieve with the strike. I don't know what happened, Harry. I wanted you to feel like Mr. Martinez. And of course, I also wanted you to find your gun. But it's like I can't completely trust you. Yet. Yes, Harry. It's like I can't fully trust you if you're not a man of the left. I want to, but I just can't.
A man of the left. So you have to be a social democrat. He's been hurt too much in the past by men who aren't social democrats.
Oh, let's see. What's that supposed to mean? I'm more left than you are.
You're saying it, but I don't believe you. You know how it is, company snitches, agent provocateurs everywhere. I'm barricaded in this fortress of mine, and I need to get a message out. Will you help me?
And what
This
would this
again.
entail?
Once again, I require nothing unethical or illegal of you. You just need to get 2 little signatures on this piece of paper, and then mail it to my accountant in La Delta.
Kim, what do you think of
It
this?
depends. I don't think what we just got from Mr. Clare was very useful.
But, he thinks, it's your call.
As I said, it weighs on me heavily. But once we get really talking, well, I'm going to hand you the keys to Martinez, and maybe even help you figure out who's behind this killing.
What are the signatures for?
I'm glad you asked, Harry. The Union is going to build a modern youth centre in Martinez. It will be righteous. We're gonna get those teenagers off drugs and on roller skates. There's a nameless little street on the coast with some old houses around it. Most people have already signed. I just need 2 more signatures to get this mission off the ground, Harry.
Where's this place exactly?
On the coast, Harry, across the canal. There's a cul-de-sac there, a little village they're calling it. A gloomy place. You'll find it. I trust your detective skills, Harry.
Water drips from the eaves. A woman looks at her freshly tarred skiff. There's a pair of cavalry boots under the fish in the box, and the wind howls like a vicious spirit.
What happens to current occupants?
They are just gonna have to deal with the construction noise for 6 months, and then they'll be living like kings. Right next to a fancy new youth centre, designed by the best architects from Stella Marie.
Fine, if I happen to be there, I can ask them.
You bring joy to my heart, Harry. Such a pleasure to be working with you. Here.
He hands you an open white envelope.
You need to get signatures from Isabel Sadie and Lillian Carter. The cul-de-sac is right past the pawn shop and across the canal. I hear there is some trouble with the water lock, but they should fix it by Wednesday morning. Once you have the signatures, mail this to 13022 La Rocca in La Delta. Then I'll know you're a solid socialist.
He runs his fingers through his thin hair. It turns out the strikers were being served an alcoholic brew. I stopped the madness.
I don't know what that means, Harry, but I love it. I love your initiative. Knowing you're out there keeping things running lets me focus on the big picture stuff. Don't even tell me what was going on. Alcoholic brew? Stronger? Stopped it? Strike? I'm just gonna let you surprise me, Harry.
What's in the container that's outside your office?
My dear Harry, there are literally millions of containers in this harbour. I couldn't possibly remember what's in all of them.
There's something special about it. What was attached to the convulsion crane?
Harry, you smooth-talking son of a bitch. Time is a precious resource, and I don't have enough of it to count containers with you.
Smooth talking. Maybe that's the way to go about opening the container. You should at least try convincing it.
Alright, let's try talking about my lost gun again.
Yes. My best men are tracking it down. Some kids saw some other kids running away with it. Some folks said a paranoid schizophrenic might have it. Leads are being checked, Harry. What's that, Harry? You're getting a little pale. Is it the words paranoid schizophrenic and lost gun in one sentence? Don't worry, it's just a lead. It'll probably turn out to be nothing.
Everett, I'm going to leave now, but we might talk again later.
You're back before the cargo container. Its drawer has not lessened since you were last here. If anything, it seems to have grown slightly.
Only 3%. Okay, not going to try to open it. see if we have anything new with this guy.
Your race descent has only worsened since I last saw you. You have really let yourself go.
Why are you not with the Hardy Boys?
I am not the first line of defense. I am the last. In addition, these so-called Hardy Boys are an effeminate clique of bodybuilders. Their company is spiritually degrading.
But you're all part of the Union.
The Hardy manlets are on the pay of the company. I answer to the Union alone. And I do this out of race heroism. Finance is an alien concept to the Seminoles. Now leave me be. I must luxuriate in the company of my woman.
Let's see. I already talked to him. Let's flip
Hold on,
to-
Wandering Man. How can I help you?
Is there anything new with this guy?
Right to work! Right!
Already looked in there. I don't see anything new over here. See if this guy has anything new to say.
Stuck in the rain in a traffic jam, man. What's on your mind?
Alright, not high enough for that.
There are clothes inside. Cheap second-hand clothes, smelling of strangers' body odors.
Don't be shy. These are premium class clothes. Good quality fabrics, best retro design. Save the economy with your style, officer.
Okay.
You find your hands deep in tattered and faded garments made from weird polyester blends that make your body itch and sweat in all the wrong places. The box smells like cat piss or like an
Ew.
old person with no money.
Economical, but also trendy. Look first hand, buy second hand. Keep the economy moving.
Find something worth salvaging from the pile of rags. Alright, let's see.
Something cold grazes your hand. Synthetic and sleek. A windbreaker. Surf, it says, but also wind, summer, 100% waterproof, and sport. All in different typefaces.
Okay.
Practical, and yet it may deaden your senses to the world around you. Possibly because of the awful typeface.
Okay.
Good choice, officer. Mega sporty. And it's only $4.50 for you, sir.
+1 composure, -1 shivers. I guess.
Gotta prepare for springtime, right?
You see two lowly, defeated speakers, thralls, slaves basically, perched atop them like conquerors surveying the land. A pair of found, durable wear sneakers, ultra serious.
I can see you've a taste for luxury, officer. Can't keep your eyes off those sneakers?
A pair of Faun Ultras. The design is impossible.
Those sneakers, mister. Those sneakers are the latest Faun sneakers. Super air, super fine, super cool. Only 50 real.
Only? That's madness.
Reaction speed +1, hand-eye coordination +1, encyclopedia -1. A lot of money for a pair of sneakers.
You see a Samaran street vendor surrounded by a motley assemblage of goods. When he realizes you're looking at him, his face breaks into a wide, welcoming grin. The name Sileng is embroidered over his breast pocket.
Happy shopping, officer. Everything's cool here.
Gives you a thumbs up. What's so cool?
Everything's cool. The goods are cool, the customers are cool, the place is cool. And one more thing, officer.
From out on the bay, a cool wind gathers. It sweeps into the city, tugging at the textiles hanging around the stand. Some distance away, the sound of a tin can clattering across the street can be heard.
You're very cool. Bang, 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 bang.
Really, you think I'm cool?
Oh, yes. You got style. You got personal style. You know what you like.
He surveys his consumerist kingdom with an air of satisfaction.
You like premium menswear. Look around and browse. Everything looks cool on a guy like you. Take your time.
He settles back into the pile of boxes he's sitting on.
Don't be distracted by the flattery and funny man act. Questions?
The food packages you're selling have humanitarian aid written on them. How come?
You mean these delicious pre-packaged shelf-stable meal kits? Really easy to cook, no hassle, really cheap too. Buy some, try them out.
I think one said not for resale on the packaging. Don't play games with me, Hawker. What's going on?
No problem here, officer. I get all this from one of my suppliers, an extremely reputable guy.
Wait. Humanex. Humanitarian aid.
Does your supplier drive the Humanox lorry over there?
What?
The street vendor looks over his left shoulder and stares at the lorry as though he's never seen a lorry in his entire life.
Look, officer, I'm just a retailer. You'd have to talk to my supplier if you got questions about the supply chain. That's how the game works.
Interesting.
Lieutenant whips out his blue notebook and makes a note.
We'll need more if we're going to pin this one down, he thinks. Good questions, though. Sharp eyes, officer.
Oh, persuade is not good. What kind of stuff are you selling here?
Only the coolest goods in Revachol. I've got sneakers, speakers, extremely comfy pants too. Try them on right here. No shame, only freedom.
What the heck? Where'd you get those comfy
I'm
pants?
an entrepreneur, officer. I've got sources, buyers, suppliers, distributors, manufacturers, wholesalers, all extremely cool and above board.
Do you have a permit to sell all that?
Good joke, officer. Here we don't have permits, just economic freedom. Take a look around.
He takes a deep breath.
You glance around the decrepit buildings, the miserable weather, the sidewalks strewn with sunflower seeds and a dust-choked air.
It's beautiful. Beautiful freedom.
Kim, is it true he doesn't need a permit to sell?
It is, yes. Anyone can set up their shop whenever they feel like it.
That's right. No permits, no bureaucracy. That's why this city and its law officials are so cool.
Wait, But what are we doing here if there are no permits? Look at Kim and the police insignia on his sleeve.
If you wanted to be cynical about it, you could say we are here to protect the interests of property holders. I am not, however.
My man, officer, you make all this possible. Without you, this climate would be extremely bad for business. You're part of the Gossamer State.
A Gossamer State? You're right, this is cool. I'm part of a hip, thin, almost non-existent state apparatus. So cool, guys protect businessmen while everyone else lives in ruins. I can think of cooler things. But you're foreign, I'm protecting the business interests. And I'm protecting the state lawlessness. I'm not an officer of the law, I'm an officer of common anarchy.
Yeah, that's the main thing about you. Freedom is great. It's what lets independent entrepreneurs like me sell quality goods at competitive prices.
Is there a discount for cool officers like me?
No need for discounts at ceilings, officer. Everything's already on sale. Anything you want, 50% off.
But did he first mark them up 100%, just so that he could put them on sale? Yes, it's a business secret. Let him keep it.
Anything for you.
Where are you from?
Me? It's a boring story, officer. Who cares about the past? I'm all business now. All Revachol. Very cool. I like your style, officer.
Alright, let's see if the shoes are on sale now.
Wow, you work hard. Oh,
I do.
yes, you hustle. You're a provider. It's tough out there, but you keep it real and provide.
I guess I do, yeah.
Oh yeah, like a horse, a workhorse, for hard work.
What hard work do I do exactly?
Look at yourself. You're a human pedometer. You must have walked 200,000 steps down cracked asphalt, mosaic, sand, and linoleum after you re-emerged. That is the sign of a hustler who never gives up. The world is harsh and people are evil. You didn't make it that way, and you won't let it break you. You ride.
I'll do number 2.
That's just what it's like. Life and death. But you got gills on your side, baby. Got those black papers with the faces of the innocents on them. You bring in the Franco-Negros and the Solas. It ain't easy, but you do it. Day in and day out. You didn't make the rules, but you won't lose. You're a cop, and a sprinter, and a money printer.
Sure, I got that giant novelty check from Everett. I guess I've made some gills, sure.
Sure. And has it been easy? Is life easy? Have you not gone into cardiac arrest? Are you not about to have an anxiety attack or shoot yourself in the mouth? But you still hustle 24/7, ride or die. Now, ask yourself, are you rich?
No.
That's right. You work harder than anyone. You almost rode yourself to the grave and you're still practically a hobo. Why is that?
It's because of the Garte guy riding my butt. The system is broken. There's a market for corrupt cops out there, but the immigrant cops have price dumped it. Taxes, man. I don't know why. Am I poor? System's broken.
Boo-hoo. The system is broken.
Alright, I gotta take a quick break. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. Just give me a second here. Alright, let's see. Taxes, man.
That's right. 100%. Fucking G-Man's got his jam-covered sticky fingers in your pocket, stealing from you every time you buy, sell, walk, talk, fart, so much as sneeze.
Really? Every time I sneeze?
Every time you wipe your ass. They got their direct and their indirect modes of taxation. Sales tax, excise duty, extraction tax, alimony, one tax that doesn't even have a name. Plus there's the stuff people in other countries pay for. That makes them ask for more money from you. Here, total tax duties add up to 98% of all your money.
What? Are you sure? That seems like a pretty big number.
What are you not sure about? They're milking your nipples till they bleed. Can't you see? Aren't you sick and tired of having bloody nipples?
I'm a free market fundamentalist now.
Here you go, hustler. Fight the righteous fight. Free the people. Keep it real. Keep it street. Keep foaming at the mouth furiously on the tax issue.
Okay.
The speakers below are banged up and
Nope.
worthless. The sneakers triumph over them. They're the star of the show here.
He did not go down in price on the sneakers.
There's a pile of cheap sunglasses in a small box, a variety of shapes and colors.
You like sunglasses, officer? I've got the latest styles right here.
Rummage through the box.
These are all boring. Boring third-rate ho-hum sunglasses made of cheap Syrahese plastic. The kind of plastic that melts in the sun.
Okay then.
These are all first-rate sunglasses. Premium design, superb material, very cool, UV resistant. These will definitely keep your eyes safe and cool while doing your dangerous police work.
And alright, scores are too low. Anything else back here? Alright. Roy's Pawn Shop, fast cash for faster times. Let's see what this guy's got to say.
Good morning to you, officers.
A burly man hangs out by the waterlock, carving up a generous serving of salami with an old hunter's knife. His eyes are fixed on a man stranded on the other side of the waterlock and on an enormous billboard that has fallen down into the canal between them. His posture is relaxed. Despite his powerful build and a knife in his hand, this man resorts to physical intimidation only infrequently, if at all.
Let's see. Do you know what caused this wreckage? Pointing at the smashed billboard at the canal.
I wasn't here to witness it, but those look like tire tracks on that sign. Weird, huh? Then again, plenty of daredevil drivers in Rivershoal.
The words Daredevil Driver sound ominous to you.
Too bad it also takes a year and a day to repair anything around here. Especially a water lock. The rest of the coast is closed off till then.
Do you know what caused, or what's further down the coast?
Well, there's the fishing village, an abandoned fish market, a bizarro church. Not much use to the congregation, though. There always seems to be something wrong with it.
He thinks for a moment.
Yeah, not really much else. Just bombed out ruins.
Can I have some of that salami?
Sure thing.
It is salty. It is savory. It is chewy. The hangover only makes the salami more tasty.
Want some too, officer?
He turns to the lieutenant.
Why not?
The lieutenant ponders the offer for a moment, then decides to go for it. He takes a slice of salami from the man and chews on it. Right by.
A couple of indicator lights are missing from this control panel. Loose wires dangle from the now vacant holes. In the middle is a lever. Beneath it, a small metal plaque. This panel usually closes the water lock, turning it into a bridge that lets you cross the canal. But there's a crashed salmon and butter sign in the way. Pulling the lever probably won't do anything. You pull the lever all the way up until the metal clicks against the contact pins. You hear a soft clunk. Then, nothing happens. A spring brings the lever back to its original position. You still need to close the water lock to get across the canal. Some other way.
Okay, there's another way across the canal.
Wasn't there a sign over there saying functionality will be restored on Wednesday morning?
Butter sign down. Darn, I can't go down the ladder. Alright, let's go see if this guy has anything else to say.
The boomboxes wait on the shelves. And your boombox, that gold and amber Harmon Waushi, stares at you longingly with its tape reel eyes.
Shopkeep, the Stereo 8 approved machine here.
Is the Harmon Waushi W2. Made in Vespa. Designed in Seoul. Plays all reel-to-reel formats. 2mm, 8mm, 12mm. It's even got a little radio in there. It'll set you back 12 real.
What I really want to know is, could this device come in handy in my police work?
If police work means playing tapes, sure. You can use it for that. Or any other time you'd need to play a tape.
Are you sure this is all in working order?
Absolutely. I've tested each one myself with recordings of speech. Found sounds and music from a variety of genres. Even though I don't really like music. Hello again. How can I help you?
A typical Martinez streetlight sits among assorted floor and table lamps. The light pole has been carefully cut, and the wiring has been redone and attached to a standard indoor plug. The light buzzes faintly, but persistently.
Is that a
Yes,
street
officer. As you see, it's in perfect working order.
His manner is casual, but his speech is careful, measured. He wants you to know that he has nothing to hide.
Where did you get this?
It was brought to me to be altered.
We are not here to investigate the theft of city property.
He leans in so the pawnbroker doesn't hear him.
You have to admit it's rather clever what he's done with it.
How much for the streetlight?
700 real. A bargain, I dare say.
$700 sounds about right. I imagine it wasn't easy sawing off that street lamp. Are you out of your mind? There's one just like that on every corner.
The light has undergone 3 transformations, and every transformation, large or small, has a price tag.
He rests his elbows on the counter and brings his face closer to the glass. What do you mean, transformations?
Well, there are the cost of removal and rewiring.
He throws you a look of weary patience.
The most important transformation is the light's placement among ordinary indoor fixtures, which has adjusted its morphological field. The light became suitable for use inside the home just a few days ago.
There is nothing else.
You see rows of toys. Try to find something pretty and cool here. Then use it to win her back.
What? Win her back?
Yes. Buy something nice. A figurine. This sounds off. You shouldn't trust this guy.
Interface medium. Alright, sure.
Why? What's this? A headless man riding a horse? A headless man wearing futuristic tracksuit trousers that say found.
What is this?
Oh, that's the Headless Phone Rider.
Who?
The Headless Phone Rider. It's an urban legend about a man who rides the streets of Revachol sporting a fawn tracksuit. As you see, he's missing his head.
He points at the decapitated figurine.
50 cents. Bargain price. I'll throw in the tiny cap too. I think he's looking for it, or something. That part of the story has many interpretations. Did I mention that this figurine is supposed to be lucky? Always carry it with you.
Okay. So I can't get through there.
The woman still has her eyes fixed. Very
just
stuck
let's look
in
in
the
here
traffic jam.
again.
The windows are clear. They've been recently washed.
Alright, nothing new. Nobody new to talk to.
I've got nothing to say to you. Why are you wasting your time?
Looks like the circus left town, but the clowns are still here.
And 3%, okay. Me and Everett talked. He promised he'd cooperate.
Oh, so you went and talked to my mommy, and now she's making me play with you. Is that it, lawman?
And what's gonna happen if we don't? You gonna go and tell on us?
Very mature, guys. Everett sent word, right?
Yeah, I heard him. The fuck do you think I'm doing here? You'd have your ass handed to you if it wasn't for the boss man's word. Let me state this very clearly, capo. Hello, officer. I'm Titus Hardy, and these are my boys. Hardy boys. How may we assist you?
I want to talk about the hanging again.
Again. Just get the dead guy's autograph, since you're his biggest fan.
Good one, Titus.
You murdered him just like that, no remorse.
How many people have you sent to the Shays? Ever felt remorse for them?
Or send them to Reunion to rot. For 20 years. For life.
He says it as if it were worse than dying. Yes, but these were all bad people, criminals, the scum of the earth. Look, I'm just doing my job, that's all. What we do is different. We enforce the law. You just kill people like it's nothing else. Honestly, I don't drink so much. I can't really remember anyone I've sent before bars. Look, I'm just doing my job, that's all.
Oh, so you are just a simple, well-meaning man, eh? Ever been in solitary? Prison is a charter. That's what it is.
So is hanging a man, slowly, without breaking his neck.
Who called the shots
Are you
that
deaf?
night?
There will be no singling anyone out. You can't arrest a Hardy boy without arresting all Hardy. Do you think you could do that? Do you think you could arrest them all?
I don't have to. One of them was more complicit than the others. No, but seriously, who calls the shots around here?
Who do you fucking think does?
Everett Clear runs the union. You answer to him, right?
You keep him the fuck out of this. We have autonomy. It's all on us. Everard runs the union. I run the Hardy Boys.
When the shit starts spinning, it will not land on Mr. Clear. That's the deal here. The Fixer will ignore the notion completely, focusing on Titus's culpability.
When Titus Hardy says he runs the Hardy Boys, he means that in an administrative capacity. On that night, everyone acted as one man.
How did you kill him?
We hanged him up by his neck until he got real still. Wasn't that obvious, Copper?
Didn't they teach you anything at the cop school, idiot?
The autopsy showed there were no ligature marks. His hands were not tied. Can you explain that?
The lieutenant goes in for the leg sweep. Titus does not see it coming.
Look, I'm not gonna play 20 questions with you, Capo. I'll say it again. We killed him.
Yeah, I knocked him out. Came up behind him and clubbed him in the back of the head. He went down like a sack of sand.
That's right, lawman. And then we hanged the fuck.
Make them a bit more uncomfortable first. Then see if it all adds up.
Mr. Terrace, what did you use to knock him out with? Where did all of this action take place? Things aren't quite right here, are they? Wait, I have other questions about the lynching. Mr. Terrace, what did you use to knock the victim out?
My fucking elbow, Copper. Samaran boxing style.
Where did all this action take place?
Right fucking here. Eugene already told you that the fuck had started coming to our bar.
Yeah, man. Weren't you listening?
Alright, do I have anything to help me out here? And I can't open it.
Like what, Copper? About fucking time. Again.
Whoops.
Just get the...
Crap. Hit the wrong thing.
Good one, Titus.
About fucking time.
40 is still 8%. Alright, let's see if I have anything to help me out with how to level up. Let's see. Intimidate the public, assert yourself. Points from items, 0 points from dot 0. Charm men and women play the puppet master. Inland Empire, hunches and gut feelings, dreams and waking life. Thanks. Let's see. Let's put 1 in this 40. Let's do 1 in suggestion, maybe. vampire. Understand creativity, see art in the world. Rhetoric, practice the art of persuasion, enjoy rigorous intellectual discourse. Let's do rhetoric. Alright, let's see. Do I have anything? White envelope with the stamp attached.
You take the legal documents out of the envelope. A 12 to 40 month construction period and the zoning plan in the addendum.
Look at the
The
zoning
youth
plan.
center cuts into the ocean like the bow of some great modern ship. Apparently, it's going to cover most, if not all, of the street and the square between the existing houses. It's 3 stories tall. It's going to be awfully close to the already existing buildings, almost wall to wall, practically integrating them into the youth center. This is either an ominous or cool architectural choice. Hard to say.
Kim, what do you think of this?
I'm no property lawyer, but it looks fine. I like the print size. They're not selling or leasing anything. It's not a perfect solution, but...
Oh, 83%. Try to find a loophole in the deal.
There is no loophole. The simple truth is, the current residents are going to lose their street access, and for the next 12 to 40 months, their lives will be dominated by constant construction noise right next door.
Wait, what are the ramifications of this?
Once the construction starts, it'll probably take a few months, a year maybe, for even the most stubborn occupants to get tired of living like this. After that, they'll sell their property for cheap and move out.
Okay, point to the photocopy. These people are going to have to move away. Can we do something about it?
I should have seen it.
Lieutenant frowns as he reads over the document again.
Evrard probably has eyes on us, but we could try to get other people to sign this instead of those listed. Or you could forge their signatures yourself. By the time he finds out, we'll already be gone. However, we'll need access to the coast before we do anything. Evrard won't believe you got villager signatures if you can't even get to the village. You can try a forgery as soon as we can cross the waterlock.
Put the documents back in the envelope. Plastic, headless. Alright, let's take a look at our clothes again. We got a +1 conceptualization. Course. Chemistry. Suggestion. Composure. Drama. +1 logic, -1 authority. Let's see what the notebook has. Okay, map. Damage ledger. Historic impossible. Authority godly. Okay. Let's see if there's anything new.
I've got nothing to say to you. Why are you wasting your time?
Are you the hardy girl?
I am not.
You could be, Liz. You could be anything. You could even be a model.
Even a mod? Glenn, I went...
He's right. With a face like that, she could be on the cover of Le Debutante International.
Get a grip, Glenn. She went to law school.
So fucking what? Lots of models are actually really smart people, fuckwad.
No, Glenn, they aren't.
Her tone is cold and uninvolved. Let's see if we got anything new with this guy.
Looks like the circus left town, but the clowns are still here.
That's really low. I'm gonna take off now.
Behind the dockworkers, a ceiling height window. The hawthorn branches scrape the glass like bony fingers.
Let's try.
There's a little slide
something.
panel up there to let some air in. No need to open it in spring. It's still too cold outside.
Perception site. Heroic. Look out the window.
Nothing. Just black tangles like the hair of an old woman. Motionless. The wind in the yard doesn't reach the hawthorn, nor does the light come in from this window.
Alright. Anything else in here? Okay, he's still talking about money.
Oh, hello, dear. There you are again.
I guess I'll try that.
There's really no point in manipulating anyone. She'd be only too pleased to tell you about her work. Go on and ask.
Hey, Lena, I'd like to hear about some of the cryptids you studied. Could you just tell me about a couple of them?
Oh, I'd be delighted. Truth be told, I could really use the company too.
One cryptid, not a couple. One. This won't turn into some kind of cryptid extravaganza.
Okay, Kim, just one little cryptid, promise.
He nods and assumes a waiting posture. Cryptids, cryptids. Let's hear about all the interesting cryptids. Ooh, tough choice there.
What's the biggest cryptid? What's the tiniest cryptid? What's the most dangerous cryptid? Are there any invisible ones? This has to be educational. Sadly, we need to discuss something else. What's the most dangerous cryptid?
The gnome of Jeroma.
She pauses for effect. The gnome of Jeroma. That sounds terrifying.
Oh, yes. None of its victims survived. Grieving relatives never even found their bodies because the gnome's venom dissolved organic tissue.
What did this cryptid look like?
It was, reportedly, a small creature with webbed fingers and a protruding forehead and a gangly little thing. quite scary to look at. A couple of campers found it when it was already dying. They heard an odd wailing in the woods and followed the sound. They were scared and wrapped it in tarpaulin to suffocate it. It still took the gnome of Jeroma an entire day to die.
If the body of the creature was found, why aren't there detailed illustrations of it in science textbooks, confirming the existence of this very little species?
Alas, the first scientist who got his hands on the creature's corpse put it in a jar of formaldehyde, thinking that would detoxify the gnome's venom. Instead, all the venom leaked out of the creature's teeth and into the surrounding liquid, dissolving the creature itself. A poetic end, perhaps, but a real loss for science.
She says mostly to herself.
Alas, always alas, and then it was gone. Isn't that overly convenient?
Seems very convenient that it just disappeared and nothing like it was seen again. No, it was perfectly a good explanation.
I understand your skepticism, but that's what happens with things that are rare and stand out. Their disappearance is most memorable, and they are least likely to be found again.
Hey, you promised you'd only ask about one cryptid.
But Kim, don't you want to hear about another one?
The lieutenant pauses, thoughtfully. Something in him breaks.
Ah, fuck it. Let's have more cryptids.
Well, the smallest cryptid is the Cryobacter catlensis, a unicellular bacterium. It was discovered in one of the northernmost points of Katla on the Boreal Plateau by renowned geologist Caitlin Mijanou some 70 years ago.
What's so special about it?
The bacterial colony Mijanou found had remained alive while frozen in ice for longer than anyone could reliably estimate. Certainly from before recorded history. Mijanou disappeared shortly after injecting herself with the bacteria she had brought back to study, no doubt in hopes of prolonging her own life.
Wait, she injected herself with it?
Yes. The bacteria had survived in the ice since times immemorial. It is not hard to see where she could have gotten the idea.
It's actually a little hard to see. But do go on.
Oh, excuse me. Immortal bacteria, immortal geologist, that's too wild.
Wild, yes. Impossible? No. Everything has a price, sweetie. After Mijanou treated herself with the bacteria, she stopped aging, but also became increasingly eccentric and irascible, so that even her oldest friends were forced to pull away. We can assume that she has been living somewhere in the wilderness for decades now, all alone except for the Cryobacter catlensis coursing through her bloodstream.
Are there any invisible cryptids?
What an interesting question. And the answer is yes, there are.
Of course. All fairy tales have someone or something invisible in them.
Shush, Kim, she's gonna tell me about the invisible cryptid. What is it?
It's the Col de Mama d'Aqua. Its name means thin whisper of sound, and that's precisely what it is. Self-replicating sound waves, invisible and intangible. The Col de Mama is very afraid of us, which makes it incredibly difficult to track.
What evidence is there of this animal being a sound?
Plenty. It's the evidence that led to its discovery. In the 20s, a group of Areopagite ornithologists, that is, scientists who study birds, were trying out a new recording technology for capturing sounds outside the range of human hearing. When playing back recordings they had made in the foothills of the Ea mountain range, they noticed certain anomalies, patterns that seemed random at first, but on closer examination were consistent with the waveforms of songbirds.
Songbirds.
The scientists soon discovered they could track and even predict what appeared to be feeding, mating, and migration patterns based on sound waves in a strictly delimited range of ultrasonic frequencies, even higher than those of the highest pitched bat calls.
She transforms, when speaking about these strange animals, into a confident woman.
They realized that they had discovered a new species and called it the Koldumamadakwa, after the Paracanassian name for the voice of God, which is said to be very silent.
Wow.
They grew quite obsessed with these little birds. Even though they couldn't see them, they could distinguish among individual birds and even began to name some of them.
Name them?
Sequester, Time, Joscan. Those are but some of the Mamadakwa they followed individually.
What does it sound like?
Like nothing. It's such a high-pitched sound that us humans can't hear it, nor can other animals. It could be ringing right outside your window and you wouldn't even know it. Could be anywhere. Everywhere, even.
Fine, I'll bite. How can an animal be a sound?
Many scientists have asked the same question. Some have claimed that it isn't itself a sound, but a tiny corpuscle that emits sound waves. But there's no evidence to support this theory.
Why is the Mama Drakwa so afraid of us?
That is a sad story. A group of university students assisting with the field work in their enthusiasm for the project, and no doubt because they were preoccupied with impressing their professors, nearly drove it to extinction.
Extinction?
They tried to communicate with it and had no other means but sound. So they started sending out sound waves at frequencies they thought might match the Mamadakwas. And what happens when a sound wave meets another sound wave of the same frequency, dear?
This lady really should be a teacher. She's really good at the explaining things thing.
They cancel each other out, they amplify each other. They cancel each other out.
Exactly. And these tests were performed so recklessly that when they happened upon the right frequency, well, they wiped out most of the population. After that, the corpuscle appears to have migrated elsewhere. There have been recordings of anomalies similar to those spotted in Ea, but they've been few and far between. It's impossible to confirm the presence of any stable Koltumamadakwa population anywhere.
Of course. A common thread in these. Disappearance and unfalsifiability. I like the story, though, ma'am.
I'm glad you did, dear.
Could it be here? Look around right now.
It could be. As I said, it could be everywhere. And we wouldn't know any better. It could be ringing all the days of our lives and nights.
Interesting. What about?
What about what?
What's the biggest cryptid?
That would be the giant of Kokonur.
She says, as if it's common knowledge.
The giant lives in the most arid parts of the vast Kokonur Desert in South Samara, casting a strange light across the barren wastes.
Wait, what do you mean a strange light?
Mirage or a psychogenous luminance.
She does not elaborate the nature of this luminance further, And just how big is it?
No one knows for sure. It is like an awful mountain appearing from below the horizon and expanding to cover almost a third of your field of vision.
Is it dangerous?
The towering luminosity of Kokonur is a bad omen in local folklore. Some say it's a fata morgana, others, fate unimaginable.
Hui. No animal can be that large. It's a mirage.
That's what makes it so peculiar. A species surviving at the very limits of scientific law. The giant of Kokonur must be the largest animal the planet can support. There are limits, you see, to how large a metabolism an ecosystem can beget. Some say a gravity anomaly below the Kokonur desert might allow the creature to grow to these gargantuan sizes.
Great. This is great shit. You need more.
This has been an educational. Sadly, we need to discuss something else.
Of course, dear.
I'd really like to hear some more about cryptids.
You know, to hell with it. Let's have more cryptids.
Of course,
That's
officers.
awesome.
Is there a particular... Of course, dear.
Can I help you?
Guess not. Alright, let's go check upstairs. I don't know why you just can't knock at the doors. A gust of briny wind washes over you.
Yes?
Alright, let's just say it. I think you should know I can't remember anything.
No response. He just arches his brow.
I feel like I must repeat this. I don't remember anything. There was heavy drinking involved.
Have you tried concentrating on something other than your personal affairs?
There is a sudden, harsh edge to his voice, like he's tired of hearing about your personal affairs.
I'm afraid this is a medical situation.
Really? You look fine to me.
I'm talking serious, unbelievable damage here. I saw myself in the mirror and had no idea who I was.
This psychodrama is unbecoming of an officer.
Clearly, he prefers to think you're malingering. He cannot fathom that anyone could drink so much as to retroactively erase their entire life.
Focus
Okay,
on other
then.
people's troubles, not your own. That is a relief.
Okay.
A moment passes. The lieutenant glances at the sports watch on his wrist.
Alright, let's try it. What the heck?
Look at you. It's because you're a failure. They sent you to Slight, Precinct 57.
What? No, that can't be right.
Just think about it for a second. You're a raging alcoholic who showed up 3 days late wearing piss-stained disco garb. You weren't sent here to win.
Keep it to yourself.
Of course, it's only a theory. Whatever their reasoning, there's nothing written that says you have to prove them right.
Dang it. The smell of the sea makes you dizzy. Okay. Nothing on the front page rings a bell strange. I don't think there's anything else in there for me to do.
Was that? Could it be the Col de Mamadakwa? No, it's probably just your imagination ringing in your ear.
Is it? Is there ringing?
There seems to be an extremely high-pitched ring. Ultrasonic. Lena said it was very high-pitched, right? It's like something tickles your ear. Lena also said that it couldn't be heard by any other animal, including humans. What you're hearing must just be a regular bird. Honestly, your ear isn't hearing a whole lot. The distant hum of the industrial harbor, the traffic. But, admittedly, there is a high-pitched noise somewhere there too. But then, isn't there always?
Listen
There it is
closely.
again. You are about to rediscover a long-lost species. It must be very close. Maybe, just maybe, it will come toward you. Keep still. It might perch on your shoulder. What are you doing? You're a police officer, not a pansy ornithologist. The only birds you should be looking for are healthy women of childbearing age.
Okay.
Oh no. The sound. It's moving away. Somewhere over there. Go after it. No. Too late. It's gone. There is no ringing anymore. Keep your ears peeled, then. If the species really has migrated to Martinez, you're sure to hear it again.
All right.
You see a set of tire tracks in the brown slush that covers the plaza mosaic.
Ooh, 83%. Let's try it.
The tire tracks were left here by an unknown event that took place some days ago. It's a message, written in the language of burnt rubber. Some of that rubber stuck to the tiles right in front of the whirling in rags. This is point A. The driver started there, and then accelerated straight into the fence. The driver proceeded to back out of the yard, barely stopping before hitting the adjacent building, before heading south. Must have been in a hurry.
The car drove through the
You are
fence.
correct. This is a rather motor carriage-friendly city.
Somehow that makes you feel scared. You don't know why.
Who's connected to the case?
I'm not sure. There are plenty of traffic accidents waiting to happen in Martinez. With the jam right here on the roundabout, I would keep them separate.
You could follow the track south. There seems to be a canal there. See where they went, if you find the time.
I think I got it.
The afternoon sun shimmers off the white on blue police livery of the motor carriage. Do something important? Something murder-related? There's always something important. Doesn't mean you can't take a moment to admire this piece of machinery. Even at a standstill, the unibody Caprice Kanema looks sleek and dynamic. The cabin is tilted frontward to give it a more aggressive, hunched look. Someone has waxed it recently.
Mm-hmm. You want to take a closer look?
What's it packing there? Point to the engine.
130.
I reckon that's a 7-liter V12 there.
$7.2. Supercharged.
Fine machine. Run your hand over the smooth metal surface.
Yes. An extraordinary machine.
It's nice and all, but why so modest? Put some zing into it. Flare it up. Slam it down. Helium headlights would improve the range and quality of the visual field a lot. It's a bit girly right now. Fit it with some proper off-road components.
Ever thought about switching to helium headlights?
Actually, I have a pair at home. Just haven't gotten around to fitting them yet. I need to lay some wiring for the ballast first.
If we ever get this case solved, maybe we can do it together.
Maybe. Yes, definitely maybe.
What in there made the infernal whining sound that woke me?
You mean the coil noise? When variable current passes through wires that make up the coils on the electrical system on this machine, it causes vibration in the wires and the cores of the coils. When the frequency of the current in the coils falls within the audible range, the resulting vibration creates the whiny sound you mentioned.
What a binoclard. Whatever you do, don't make fun of the lieutenant for explaining this to you.
You're such a binoclard, Kim. Wow, how do you know all that? That's exactly what I thought.
I have pretty much maintained my vehicles by myself ever since one was assigned to me. You inevitably pick up some knowledge on the way.
Okay, let's move.
Inside, you see a set of steering levers.
This is Precinct 57. How may I assist you? Yes. The armor was produced by Fairweather in their facilities in Bétancourt, sur la Clé in 42. It was part of a special order for Corps de Pharmacie, a security firm contracted to protect the interests of Oranese pharmaceutical companies in the Semenine conflict. So, it seems the armor went to Semenine. That's where the paper trail ends, though. Even the firm has proven difficult to track. Corps de Pharmacie has been renamed several times over in the years since the armor was issued.
Do you know what it is called now?
The most recently registered firm that the ICP has been able to connect to the CDP is a military contractor called Crenel, and the one before it was Downwell. I think they might be the same contractor.
A suit of armor like this would have been manufactured with a particular person's physique in mind. You should ask for whom this suit was fitted.
First has the firm confirmed to work for pharmaceutical companies through all these name changes.
Hard to say. Their client list is rather diverse and incomplete. The only constant seems to be that the mercenaries are always deployed in third and fourth world countries.
A suit like this would have been customized to fit the wearer. There must be a record of the person to whom it was issued.
Yes, but the ICP tends to be reluctant to share private sector records. I could try to talk them into it, though.
This is a fun challenge for her. An opportunity to contribute beyond doing her job by rote. She'll gladly put in the extra effort for Team RCM.
Yes, thank you, officer. I really appreciate your efforts in this case.
Glad to help. Call back tomorrow. Hopefully I'll have more for you then. 57th, over and out.
In the the cabin, you see a set of steering levers.
Yes?
Let's... This is... Talk to Kuno, maybe.
Fuck does Kuno care?
And this...
Kuno doesn't...
Alright, what about this kid back here?
I'll die before I squeal, pig.
What are those strange words you used, girl?
I come from the woods, good Davidu. You don't want to go there with me. You don't want to see what I've seen.
Don't be traumatizing here. Get the fuck out of here.
Alright.
The trash container stands in the spring snow. The smell of rotten food rises to greet you. You see soggy cartons, dirty rags, and organic waste. You see milk and egg rest with one broken egg in it, some pasta wrapper. You've done this before. The movements are recorded in your elbows, the methodology in your fingers.
Used
You're
to what?
used to
Dumpster
this.
diving?
No, searching for evidence in the trash. A box falls into pieces in your hands. Batiste Soleil cereal. You see milk and egg rest with one broken. You've done this before. The movements are recorded in your elbows. A box falls into pieces. Not much to see here anymore. Just a burnt apron and some kitchen. There's nothing more of interest in this sludge of peels and meat byproduct. Try the cart. The container sounds a muffled gong.
I guess I could try to find the vehicle. Anything else to say to this dude?
Still here. Stuck in this damn jam, my man. What's up?
Right to work! Right to...
A colorful display of cigarettes and alcohol bottles line the shop wall, inviting you closer. The bottles wink at you in the light. The smokes too glitter in their wrapping. It's like looking into a kind of heaven. Your knees are weak. There, in that dark green glass, all in vain. The great flowing river of warmth, wine, alcohol, beer, alcohol, love alcohol.
Say nothing, just take it in.
I'm obliged to inform you that both alcohol and cigarettes damage your health. But I guess you already know that.
Don't ask, don't look, don't do anything here. Just go away. Get back to work.
Please tell me more about these products.
The pale aged vodka is special, I guess. It's stored in pale for a couple of years, which makes it super expensive and super strong.
What is pale?
You know.
She shrugs, uninterested in explaining it further.
Don't worry your pretty little head about it. Let's concentrate on what's important here.
Okay, what will consuming this stuff do to my body?
I mean, I already said it'd hurt you. I don't know what else they do.
She stares at you unsure.
Substances give powerful bonuses to your main stats at the cost of damage to your health or morale. Cigarettes raise your intellect while damaging your health. Alcohol raises physique while damaging your morale. Use medication, like Nosafed and magnesium, to counteract the negative effects of substances. Note: consuming substances can have unforeseen consequences for you.
Do you sell any under-the-counter vices?
No, Frick only sells legal drugs, like the law says.
Do you sell speed at this establishment?
Huh? Speed. Like, speed. No, Frick doesn't do that.
She blinks at you bewildered.
Of course not. Frit is an establishment that acts within the law. Is that all, Detective?
Bah! What's the point if they don't even sell the good drugs?
Alright, let's do... Give me cigarettes.
Here you go, mister.
Here is one physique. Pale aged vodka is one physique. No. The damage looked like it could have been caused by an earthquake. Maybe a sea monster did this to the plaza.
The dented yellow mailbox greets you with its graffito and bullet holes in the front.
I just damaged my health.
There is a hollow, saddened ring as you kick the Levantourier mail collection box. It sounds betrayed, in disbelief even. Your toe has suffered damage. It hurts.
Cool. You really showed that mail collection box.
Rub your toe, you think so? You think it was cool?
I don't. Let's go.
The mail collection box has no faith in your psychopathic manipulations. Bent metal, broken glass. Your path lies strewn with the broken forms of everyday objects. You are the destroyer, the bane of inanimate matter.
Gaze upon me, stuff and despair.
Kudos.
Anti-object task force, okay. Maybe your cockatoo is missing.
I don't mean to disrespect, sir, but you are being a bit of a cockatoo here.
For what it's worth, I agree. But cockatoos can't be stopped when they get ladies. It's better to indulge him at this point.
What do you mean I'm being a cockatoo?
Nothing. Go read up on them if you're so interested. There's a great book in the bookstore.
Maybe you should. What if the cockatoo is your astral captain? Or
You're
your
being
heraldic
sarcastic.
bird?
Let's talk about something else.
Please, let's do.
Her hands move over the book covers. The tips of her fingers look rough, stained with yellow. It seems like she has spent a lot of time at work, smoking. The woman before you nods and returns to her reading.
The book appears to be erotica, but without actual erotica. Okay. The book is titled Man from Hedgenville and the Wildfire. Alright.
Whoa, what have we here?
A bridge.
A bridge with loose nails and rot-infested wood that creaks in the wind. A construction code violation if there ever was one.
Never let death come. I'm a Rashal Badge. Blank. Damn, it looks like we've got a construction code violation. Guess I'll have to take my chances.
True. They never cleaned up the war damage. The rest of Revachol looks better, though.
Lieutenant, think about the splinters.
The bridge is fine enough. Locals use it all the time, after all. It's nothing to worry about.
Wow, so someone's been a little boring.
What?
Yes, my standard liege. Someone's seen all sorts of wild ideas pop off and thought, I'll take the boring one. The regular, please. The brown.
I like brown, the standards. Look, I'm just trying to do my job. No need for extravagance. What is this? Picking up on me. Picking up on me for not being crazy enough. That's the least of my concerns.
No need to be defensive. The regularity, the brownness, the cut and dry have their appeal. A very standard appeal.
I like brown.
Of course you do. And maybe some black shoes or a pristine white shirt to go with that. It's official. My lord's Copo type is regular cop. I'll let everyone know. I'll send out a telefax.
Wait. This will be my Copo type now. Why not send out the telefax? I'm not ashamed. Yeah, no need. Let's keep that announcement on standby for now.
Yes. The type of cop you are, sire. Think of it as a caste, a class even, a nation of regular law officials that you belong to. It comes, of course, with the usual benefits.
Why not send out the telefax now? I'm not ashamed of it.
Done and done. No actual communiques will be sent, of course. That would be too dramatic.
Alright. Alright, let's see if I can do whatever this wall is.
Just an ordinary wall. Nothing to see here.
Alright.
Trying to sneak up on me again? Trying to snuff me out? Get away, pig!
See if I missed anything in here.
This is the flag of Revachol, the suzerainty. This isn't just one sun, but there are little suns dancing around the big sun. This is the sevenfold sun miracle.
What It's the sevenfold sun miracle.
It's an optical atmospheric anomaly the first settlers saw. Happens in cold weather. 6 small suns around the big one. This complex halo phenomena is how old Revachol got its flag.
Lieutenant, the old flag of Caesarea.
Mm-hmm. The tenant is an old-fashioned guy.
The flag doesn't seem to mind. It's just a colorful fabric with a sun sewn onto it. Like all feudal flags, it looks like a children's drawing.
Anything else?
A row of mugs sits on the shelf. Each one depicts a human figure.
All right. Moss crawls on those bathroom tiles, actually moss.
That isn't just a 5-pointed star. It's an inverted white pentagram cradled in a wreath of antlers. The iconography of communism, in other words. The star and antlers was developed in the 6th decade of the last century and quickly adopted by Mazov and the communards during the revolution. Even today, half a century after, the star and antlers retains the ability to evoke hope, disappointment, and fear in equal measure.
Why is the star upside down?
To symbolize the toppling of the old order. Also, some social democrats were already using it.
What's the deal with the antlers?
The wreath of antlers represents a natural crown. It was about building a society that could exist in accord with the natural world, and at the same time above it.
Why white?
Because white is the color of peace.
What does it evoke in me?
Smug superiority, aesthetic musings. The triumph of capital is undeniable. But maybe the guns were sort of cool. Revolutionaries had loads of guns.
Books of critical theory on the monstrosities of capital and such. Let me look at that.
You hear someone walking around inside, rearranging the furniture. A poor communard, from the looks of it. The room is barely bigger than a closet.
Do I have to open the door? Do you have a warrant? I'm not obligated to open the door if you don't have a warrant.
Let's go. We don't have...
It's generally easier to do things if you have literally any reason. A poor communard, from the looks of it. The room is barely bigger than a closet.
Do I have to open the door? Do you have a warrant?
Let's go.
It's generally...
Make sure I'm not missing anything here. Doesn't look like it.
Give me a moment.
Alright, she doesn't have anything new. A note reads foreclosed by Martinez Realty Associates. Is there miss anything in here?
What happened here?
You can't foreclose on an apartment with a hole in the wall.
It will still be accessible through the apartment next to it. That one didn't have a door. Sadly, nothing of great value remains here.
Except the stuff in the fridge?
Indeed.
Okay, what's stuff in the fridge?
Hello again, officers. Have you come to admire my mural?
So you won't talk about the murder, but maybe you could tell us something about the murder victim's missing armor.
What do I care about some fucking tin eggshells?
Isn't armor art for the body?
Ugh, alright. Sad piggy. I'll give you this one. I saw a little girl in the fishing village running around with military-grade handwear. Looked cute as hell. If you haven't been there, the village is a shithole down the coast from the main plaza. Have a good time!
And there's a little girl wearing gloves there.
No. That's all the snitching Cindy the Skull does for today. Actually, I don't even know why I told you what I just told you. I have a weakness for animals. It's the animal thing again. Damn it.
Or a weakness for police officers, miss. Thank you either way.
Alright, let's check back in here, make sure I didn't miss anything. 100 tiny feet scurrying beneath the grate. The rats of the city.
Ruination has come. The broken arches betray the once grand history of this building. It towered over the harbor until it happened.
Form a guess about what happened.
A great force from the northeast fired into the city. Heavy artillery shelled the coastline. Fired from the water. A straight shot into Revachol. The tenement acted as a defensive wall against the worst of the shelling until it was destroyed, and they had a direct firing line.
Look at the ruins in the water.
Those arches acted as support for something greater than what you see now. Only 3 stories stand where 9 to 12 once did. Restoration has failed. What the shelling took out was never rebuilt.
Who did this damage?
A fleet, the combined armies of Occident and Grad, with Mesk volunteers, a 5-nation army, hundreds of vessels. They massed airships further down in the Bay of Revachol. The artillery was so powerful. The ships not only required gyroscopic stabilization, they were anchored into the ocean floor as well. Many are still there to this day. If you squint, you can just barely see the shadow on the water, far in the northeast. The waves of the Martinez Inlet roll over the fallen remains of the building. The dark waters obscure the better part of the remains. This is where the damage came from somewhere in the inlet, the cannons. What didn't fall into the ocean was used as scrap. What wasn't used as scrap was thrown into the ocean.
Hey Cam, do you know who shelled our city?
The coalition. But that was a long time ago. I think we should move on.
Alright, let's go see if the freezer defrosted yet.
There it is, a brave little army in your pocket. The first Smokes platoon. 20 brave souls standing in salute, ready to step into fire for you, sir. You picked the best one. This soldier is fat and succulent. What are you waiting for? Light up. Get a load of this rock and roll cop here, people. Johnny Thundercop fishes a cheap lighter out of his pants. With a flick of the thumb, there's fire. A primal satisfaction. Here we go. The lighter's dark green disposable plastic. Safety's off. In your case, the safety is always off. Thick, warm smoke gets sucked down into your lungs. Immediately, you feel a warm nostalgia fill your head, body, and soul. A nostalgia for yourself. The man you were in your youth. Johnny Thundercop is back, and he's chill as balls.
Substance use. Smokes Astra. Secret task complete. Find smokes and smoke them. Gained experience.
In the bottom
30.
right corner of the screen, there's a cigarettes button. Cigarettes gives +1 to intellect skills. Logic, rhetoric, conceptualization, visual calculus, encyclopedia, and drama. This is good before a white check, but damages your health.
This door is made of metal, and no one answers.
We should return in the evening. At 9 p.m., the
Just an ordinary wall. Nothing to see here.
I don't think there's anything else I can do here. Two doors that lead to the balcony. Above, tarp flaps in the wind, forgotten hammers and nails and rust.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with?
You seem smart. I need someone to give me a lowdown on this reality we're in.
This reality?
She pulls her hood down closer to her neck. It's related to the medical episode. I have trouble remembering even the most basic terms of reality. No time to explain, just give me a lowdown.
No, but please. A little context. We're not in such a hurry.
We have time for you to tell me why you need a reality lowdown.
It's related to that medical episode. I have trouble remembering even the most basic terms of reality.
Ah, yes. The episode. Sounds like an acute case of encephalopathy, now that I think of it.
She puts down her thermal cup and looks at you.
Don't be phased, madame. He functions perfectly well. He only needs a lowdown on all of reality.
We may be here a while then. Ask away, officer. I'll help however I can.
All right, we're in. I know these all look good, but begin with the first, okay?
What times are these?
These are unimportant times, Detective. You and I were born after the dust had settled. 1,000th of a second too late.
Too late for what?
For the big time.
Her eyes light up. There's a flash of teeth. What's the big time?
The revolution.
Ah, that's what is this revolution I keep hearing about.
It's quite easy. Every 100 years or so, our species gets together to decide what's next, who gets shot in the head, and who gets the mineral rights. It's a real kerfuffle.
Right? Who got shot in the head? Who got the mineral rights? Where was the kerfunkle? That's... Who got shot in the head?
Those would be the communists. Generally speaking, 40 million people got shot in the head during the World Revolution. But the communists... they all got shot in the head. Oh, and the anarchists too. They shot them well. So well, one forgets they even existed.
Did the communists and the anarchists shoot back?
Did they ever? Before they got shot themselves, they shot 2 million people.
That's a tragedy.
Yes. The Red Deluge. The Insulindian Deluge, they call it.
Anyone else got shot in the head on the opposing side?
Oh, lots of people. Even the king got shot in the head, or thrown beneath a horse, or drowned. Accounts differ. It was unceremonious. Just as well, he wasn't actually the king. Just the king's nephew. The real king abdicated and lived out a long and productive life as a venture capitalist in Grad.
Smart king, cowardly king. I loved that king. Blank communist.
Yes. King Guillaume had a nose for bad PR. He ran before it. What is the expression? Went down? Anyway, Gil got out alive and his nephew Frisell got shot in his place. Him and tens of thousands of his wonderfully fascist kingsmen. It was a wild time.
Who got the mineral rights?
The liberals got the mineral rights. And by mineral rights, I mean everything.
Okay, and by liberals you mean?
Liberals are usually middle-class people, Detective. Or the remaining gentry. The beneficiaries of the pre-revolutionary arrangement. Some were rich enough to stay with the Constitution, with monarchy. Big mistake. Others bet on the revolution. They were called the ultras, or ultra-liberals. They fared well.
How did the liberals win in its all?
They didn't win so much as survive. We were the last ones standing when the war ended. Everyone else got shot in the head, remember?
We. She's one of them. Of course.
If everyone got shot, who was there to surrender to?
To foreign intervention. The coalition. Those people really took the mineral rights.
Wait, you just said that the liberals took everything.
The Liberals took everything that wasn't nailed to the ground. The Coalition took the ground. The ocean, the laws, and the people.
Who are the Coalition?
The Coalition of Nations. Grad, Mesk, Vesper, Messina, Oranje, and Sur-le-Clay. The armed center of the world. They landed here and ended the revolution. It was the moralist thing to do.
Moralists?
The moralists believe in keeping everything exactly the way it is. They believe in mineral rights, and not shooting people in the head. At least not in the same manner and volume as the others do. They are the long-standing provisional rulers of Revachol now, the coalition government.
The rulers of Revachol, and also the world. These guys are strong.
This is their zone of control. They embolden the RCM with crumbs of the same law they took. Technically speaking, you are a moralist.
The color of moralism is blue. The official motto of Moral Intern, or Moralist International, is a blue forget-me-not, a piece of grey sky. Unofficial. For a moment, there was hope.
Let's see. Not just technically, practically, for a moment there was hope. Always picking the option that doesn't commit to anything, then heck yes, I am. I don't think I'm a moralist.
Of course. Not easy to be moderate about head shooting in your line of work.
When was this kerfunkel?
The turn of the century revolution? Don't answer it. It's a trick question. The revolution began in '02 on the Isla of Grad, though by the end, nearly the whole world had gotten involved.
Who started it?
It wasn't a who, but a what. A pandemic of Zarat, a particularly virulent prion disease, which the authorities in Grad proved unable to contain. Then Mazov came along and overthrew the government.
What did this to Zra do?
It made people overthrow their governments.
Wow, really?
Of course not. It was a highly infectious microorganism that destroyed brain tissue. The actual causes of the revolution were material. The pandemic only provided the spark.
Where did it spread from there?
From Revachol and Grad? Not far. The world managed to cauterize itself. Mazov's government was overthrown in '08, and the coalition crushed the Revachol commune 2 years later. It was the end.
What came next?
Why? You and I, officer. Our lives in the zone of control.
Something tells you her life and yours are not that similar. Maybe it's because she has a boat and you have that necktie? A pair of pants?
What is the zone of control?
A city-state divided into free market zones under the everlasting interregnum of the Coalition of Nations. And you, of course, the citizens' militia.
The clatter of typewriter keys fills the main hall of the reappropriated silk mill. Precinct 41. Chad Tilbrook presses enter. Outside, Officer Elfboy Williams slams the door of an armored motor carriage.
The zone of control is the third incarnation of Revachol, after the failure of the suzerain and the commune.
What happened in the rest of the world?
Modernity. They developed the marvels of the inter-eastlery communication. Telematic milieus, radiation, colored plastics. Meanwhile, in Revachol West, the aftermath continues for the 5th decade.
51 minus 8 equals 43.
Wait, you're saying it's been like this for 43 years?
Time flies.
What have we been doing all that time?
The 20s saw a decade of urban war, west of the river leveled, offshore platforms in flames. Still, it's regarded as an improvement on what came before. 08 to 19 was simply hell.
And after that?
The 30s? Things settled down in the 30s. Revachol East transformed itself into the world's largest tax haven, with the international community's blessing. For the first time in a long time, it seemed like things were going somewhere.
Were they?
No. It was a market mirage fueled by cocaine and quantitative easing. The 40s dispelled it like a cold splash, an Isla-wide hangover, you might say. And here we are.
She curtsies.
Welcome to reality, baby.
For her to be where she is, Wild Pines Group must have picked the right side.
Which side was Wild Pines Group on?
They picked the winning side. That's why they're here, and others are not.
They chose wisely.
Perhaps it wouldn't have turned out that way had I been in charge. I might have bet on the king and led the Pines to doom.
You would have sided with the king?
I would have sided with the cannons. If you'd seen the calibers of the things, you might have too.
She thinks
Perhaps it's better I was born when I was. 10 of the 14 Indo tribes got it wrong. Feld, Kupri, Tricentennial. So I suppose I would have been in good company.
What would you have done differently?
Good question. What would you have done differently?
No, her first.
I asked you, who are you in all this?
And I asked you, past-less detective of the Citizens Militia, what insight has acute encephalopathy given to you?
I would have sought a medical solution. Sounds like Tazareth drove those people mad. I would have killed more, 400 million, if that's what it took. I would have poisoned myself very precisely. I would have made it out within our rights. Would have sought out a medical solution.
So a quarter of humanity simply lost their minds. And how would you stop a prion? A complex folding protein, unlife, with a technology 50 years ago.
With some hygiene, modest social care, and perhaps a little research program. Liquidate the rabid, prion-infested dogs who want to kill everyone with cleansing artillery file, with privatized healthcare and a work ethic that does not turn your brain into sponge tissue.
A poor remedy for prion disease. That was the attitude of most of the more moderate Indo tribes, particularly those who supported the king. Kupri, Resplendent, both gone now. Those that survived mended their ways. They're all ultras now.
Opinions expressed here do not reflect the official position of the RCM.
And what is your official position, Lieutenant?
My position, ma'am? My parents got ripped to shreds in the revolution. I would have gone the same way. I was saved by being 2 years old. That's my position.
Understandable.
That's enough about the times.
They are what they are. Who knows? An afterbloom may yet come. Anyway, enough sentimentality. Is there anything else you want to know?
Not so fast. Who is she in all this? Ask her who she is. She owes you an answer.
I want to know what you are.
She won't maneuver her way out of this one.
I am the vilest of the vile. A traitor. A devourer of nations and infants. I am an ultra.
She raises the corner of her mouth, smirking, revealing a canine.
I don't understand what's so vile about that.
Haven't you heard? I am a nether creature of the Forbidden Swamp. One of those who pushed the king under a shit wagon and betrayed the revolution. We surrendered the nation to financier pirates. No sane person identifies as ultra-liberal anymore. Not in broad daylight. I can see we're not so different, you know. Tell me, now that I've uncoiled myself, do you find me frightening?
In her green eyes, you see a mixture of truth and self-satire. Decades of guilt and pride. Forgive her. But only because you like pearlescent teeth and those light green eyes.
I forgive you, but only because you're
A
charming.
devil, who being of great charm and guile, sneaketh into the homes of the godly.
Beneath her waterproof raincoat and silk shirt is a body imbibed in numb 12 perfume. You are suddenly and intimately aware of it.
Really? What the heck? Ay, ay, ay.
Steal, kill, and destroy. That they say we've been doing for over 4 decades now. Perhaps regrettably. I've had my fill for this century. In any case, I'm glad we can remain collegial despite my scaly bulk, and my perverse need to infiltrate and betray both kingdom and revolution. When the dust settled, the liberals were the only ones left to clean up the mess. By virtue of their survival, they were handed enormous power to shape the future. This was all our last generation managed.
Would you have done something differently?
With due respect to our overlords, the eternal caretaker government that keeps Martinez a monument to the efficacy of its artillery, I would not have relinquished sovereignty to the Coalition. Not here in Martinez, and not in the Stella Maris or Delta Beachheads either. If not for my own sake.
She realizes her small, cold fists are clenched. She loosens them.
Then for my daughters. We had an obligation to defend our sovereignty. We should have burned the whole Isla down rather than let them have it.
Dark orange flames reflect in her green eyes. An oil fire on the ocean.
You're a smart woman.
Perhaps. My intellectual vanity will be my undoing.
You're no dummy yourself.
A smart boy getting smarter, one basic term of reality at a time. Yes, I suppose I am. But I wouldn't be a patriot anywhere but here.
Seditious talk, man.
Lieutenant puts down his notes and gives her a look. You have daughters?
Yes. Whatever else I am, I'm also a mother and a wife. Now, shall we return to reality?
What is this acute encephalopathy?
It's a neurological disorder caused by a lack of vitamin B in the brain. Symptoms include a retrograde amnesia. It's quite serious. You should get yourself checked out.
What causes en...
Well, it's either bariatric surgery or long-term alcohol use.
Oh, it's
She
definitely
nods
drinking.
slowly. Six kilometers southwest, in the Valley of Dogs, Junior Officer Chad Tilbrook takes aim at a rabid black dog licking its wounds in the grass. To his left, his partner, Emil Mullins, whispers, "You heard what happened to Tequila Sunset in Martinez?" "Yes, he lost his mind," Tilbrook answers, fingers on the trigger. "Don't worry, Emil." He pulls it out slowly. Slowly now. He'll find it again. We always do.
What am I?
You? You're an officer of the RCM.
She says energetically. The Revachol Citizens Militia.
Preciso mundo.
Good. And what is the Revachol Citizens Militia?
Nothing more nor less than the de facto law enforcement body of post-revolutionary Revachol, Detective.
Yes, we are the Revachol Citizens Militia.
Lieutenant steps in to make a gesture encompassing you both.
He's being sarcastic.
You said de facto.
Yes, that means not de jure. The RCM acts in what is poetically called the twilight of international law, both at the behest of the coalition government and to its chagrin.
What do you mean?
The RCM's responsibilities are defined by the Emergency, Wayfarer, and Aliments Acts, 3 pieces of legislation keeping the city in a, let's be honest, laissez-faire stasis to the benefit of foreign capital.
All 3 are good to know when we are out policing.
So I'm basically a lackey of capital? So I'm basically a thrall to foreign interests. So I'm basically one of the good guys. So I'm basically going to avoid this subject and ask the next question.
There's nothing basic about your role, Detective. It's true that the RCM keeps everything the way our seemingly permanent provisional rulers like it. Yet, on the other hand, I know these people. I deal with them daily. Let me tell you, dear, they are not fans of you. The post-revolutionary decade was a disaster for the coalition government. Revachol in the 20s was hell, especially on the west side of the river. Gang warfare, a botched privatization scheme, a nuclear pile meltdown. They called it the international zone because no nation wanted to claim responsibility. The RCM restored peace where the coalition failed. A true blue citizens' initiative. They will never forgive you.
That's somewhat of an exaggeration. In reality, ours is a mutually beneficial arrangement. Revacholians get to keep the peace in Revachol, and the coalition doesn't have to worry about it. Anyway, sorry to intrude. Please continue.
Yes, Lieutenant. Permit me to conclude with this. Who you are, to me, is the police. The only legitimate law enforcement authority in Revachol. And if those authorities drink so hard they need help recalling the basic terms of reality, well, I'm here to help.
Ooh, that's really bad.
A bird? A sphenicid? A flightless bird of the polar regions?
Am I really that awkward?
Of course you're not, my dear. I'm just terrible at guessing games.
I meant, what is this place
Ah! This is the pier of Rue de Saint-Ghislain, 33A, where the tenants have been kind enough to rent me a slot. Or 2. A pre-revolutionary tenement. Old buildings are called tenements, you see. And new buildings, bâtiments. After les bâtiments nouveaux. But 33A and 33B are not nouveaux. They're old.
She looks up at the crumbling facade.
This one used to be 8 to 10 stories tall. A real high-rise by the standards of the last century. Built to mirror the skyscrapers across the bay in the Delta. That was before the war, of course.
Who lived in them?
Mostly the urban middle class, I believe. This was once primo real estate, before the cannons lopped 4 or 5 stories off.
Splat, splat.
From a dilapidated balcony, a young girl in odd clothes gives Joyce the evil eye, a red paintbrush held to her throat.
You could be wrong, but from here it appears as if she's running the brush across her throat in a soaring motion.
Wonderful.
What is that? Point to Cindy the skull.
The girl in the old lady rags. Looks like a sullen and rebellious member of a teen infraculture.
Infraculture?
Yes. You and I belong to the supraculture. We're common, the herd. The music on the radio, the food in the chain restaurant, those are all too popular for the girl in the old lady rags. She prefers a fantasy world, an infraculture with its own dress code and vernacular. It is an illusion, I'm afraid. There is no refuge from the supraculture.
Hey, now explain the same thing but to a child. What? Understand everything, make it more complicated somehow.
I can't. That's how simple it is. One may dye their hair green and wear their grandma's coat all they want. Capital has the ability to subsume all critiques into itself. Even those who would critique capital end up reinforcing it instead. All right. What next?
That's all for now.
Glad to have been of assistance. The little that I know. Anything else?
Thank you, that's all for now.
Hello again, officers. Have you come to admire my mural?
What are you doing to the wall?
Can't you tell? I'm painting a beautiful mural, an aereo graffitio visible from low orbit. I haven't really started it yet. I'm waiting for the right words.
Why are you so committed to defacing the building? I have an opinion on this, want to hear it? So you don't know what to write.
Have you ever tried your hand at graffitio? When faced with a blank wall, most people write unimaginative stuff, like pigs go home, and Mona was here. We rarely see pigs round here, though. Just union cats. And my name's not Mona, so...
Why are you so committed to defacing the building?
This place is severely lacking in havoc. Not even the occasional trash can fire to break up the tedium. I thought I'd mix it up, you know, summon the forces of crime and social chaos with a wall-sized invitation.
I have an opinion on this, want to hear it?
Yeah?
Actually, I don't have an opinion on that.
Lying is cool, I guess.
Catch you later. children, go into the great raised motor track from 881 until you reach the domain eminent and north journey. The streets are closing. This time of year caked with ice. Walk down there to perdition. There's a side alley there and your footprints in the mud. Right now, you see yourself from above. You're passed out on the blue tile of the hostel room floor. Even from the distance, you can see your eyelids flutter at the mention of what? A great white object letting out a sweet smell like a lily of the valley. The little man's forgotten its name, but he still remembers the feeling. And look, he moves. The feeling animates him. Instinctively reaches out for the feeling's best friend, a bottle of Comrade Red. He puts on his disc of clothes and gets smaller and smaller. Indirect modes of taxation. First, if you have a side boo, ideally cooking somewhere, don't sweat it. Fighting indirect taxation for the Gossamer state, incompatible with all the creeds. It's cool like that. You're a cool anarchist now. Unless you don't want to be an anarchist, whatever. Stuff this meal ticket in your eye socket and let's see if we can steal some love back from the robber barons at the customs agency and the banditos at the Insolidian Financial Oversight and Competitive Committee. Regular law official. Okay, so it looks like you've got a bit of the normal in you, a touch of regular, 4 grams of Johnny Normal Cop. Who wouldn't think it? You, the extremist of all cops, you said some pretty boring things back there, and now you have 2 choices. You can either leave it behind you and forget about it, or you can try to utilize your normalcy, internalize it, get a touch of vanilla back into the herring flavored egg and licorice ice cream of your mind. Anti-block task force. Take a look at your hands, see how bruised they are, see those little scars. This is Exhibit A. The material world is holding you back. Containers, mailboxes, doors, chairs. They are all your enemies. Always have been. Atoms themselves are in on the conspiracy, forming shapes and structures that you hate. You as our energy stuck in a body, you are a spirit trapped in matter. Break free, beat up that lamppost, let it know just how much objects suck. You heard it, the mysteries, Cole du Mama Dakwa. You're certain that you did. Well, maybe not quite certain, but let's say you're hopeful, because it would make you very special to be the only human being who can hear the invisible incorporeal bird. Animate whisper, this particular sound, you're going to have to keep listening, sharpen your ear. Alright, let's do this one, I guess. Unlock a new slot. There's strange doors and whirling. No one knows where they lead. Find a way in and see what's hidden there in the hostile cafeteria's forgotten corners. Find a way into the secret passage. Okay, well, most of the stuff I cannot do right now. Alright, so I guess I'm going back into the bookstore. Thank you for the follow. Abo. Sorry, I don't know how to say the last name on there. Alright. Let's see.
The barbell waits patiently on the floor, like a dog for its master.
42%. Alright, let's try. Oh, crap.
Conjuring up an inhuman amount of strength, you raise the barbell up in the air. Your biceps tremble, but you're a savage. This is a children's game.
Oh yeah, I'm a true champion. Say nothing, revel in the feeling. Healed morale.
A warm wave of accomplishment washes over your head as you drop the barbell to the floor. For a moment, it feels like you're strong enough to succeed at anything you ever set your mind to. Hey, but you're still in a ghost house. What if someone heard this? What if they know you're here?
Good technique.
Is this familiar because I'm a weightlifter?
No, it's not that. It's the stale smell of rubber, the squeaky sound of sneakers, your bruised knee against the mat, and a whistle. Then the feeling is gone. It's just a memory from another life, when you were young and fit.
Alright. Let's get the flashlight out.
As before, an iron safety curtain curves before your eyes. It covers half the room, blocking the way. This is directly above the central furnace in the cellar. The voices probably came from here. Your flashlight slides over an old green chalkboard covered in scribbles, sketches, and schemes, like some ancient cave mural. Some of the writing has faded with age, but you can still...
Just looking to see if I missed anything.
This old fireplace is covered in lines drawn in blue and red marker, the mesh spreading over the stone. The whole thing resembles Cadran mosaic tiles. Very pedantic.
Hold on, how do I know what Cadran mosaic tiles are supposed to look like?
History classes, students with their textbooks open, studying the roots of our civilization. Those aquarelle blue tiles looked beautiful in the sun.
Hold on, how do I know? I already said that. I don't have a password yet.
The bear's eyes are still glowing red, watching over all. A thick layer of coal dust covers the furnace, coloring it pitch black.
Ooh, 83%. Alright.
Something breaks loose in you. A mighty bellow echoes throughout the chimney's depths. The chatter of tiny voices above suddenly cease. Then,
Hello?
you've awakened the entity.
I summoned the ghost of this doomed commercial area. Answer me, spirits. Hello, are you there? Speak to me.
Hello? Did you say anything? I can't hear you. Please come upstairs. There's a safety curtain on the second floor. I'll open it.
You hear a low rumble upstairs, the sound of a curtain being pulled aside.
After you, officer.
Alright, first I want to check on the ice cream machine.
This orange machine is dead still. It has a hand-cranked ice cream churner and an electric freezer.
Dang, it's still
the ice around
3%.
it slowly.
Okay. Alright, let's go see what's upstairs. This tray is full of dice, colorful polyhedral dice. The candy dispenser has been repurposed to contain thousands of dice. Okay.
Hello, I'm Nia.
A bird-like woman sits on a throne of tools with emerald light shining through her hair.
Did you try knocking on my window? I must have missed you. I've been listening to my Melius.
She taps on her headphones.
So what kind of die are you looking for?
Could this be the malicious entity? Perhaps it's wise to go along with this masquerade for now. She's got a direct view to the backyard. You should interrogate her about the lynching.
Hold on, what do you mean by Melius?
Yes, Amelia is like a call-in station. You need a two-way radio to access one. That's why I have these.
She pats the headphones on the table.
Mostly, they just teach you to swear in different languages. But some of the stations can be quite interesting. I was so absorbed, I must have missed you knocking.
You must have me confused with someone else. I haven't knocked on your window. Why are you asking me about dice?
Then how did you get inside? By the south entrance? You know what? It doesn't even matter. What matters is that you're finally here. Let's talk dice. Did you have something specific in mind?
Why are you asking me about dice?
I'm a novelty dice maker. Tell me the name of your role-playing system and I'll make the die you need. That's why you're here, yes?
As she speaks, her bone-like fingers fiddle with a ring. Her bones light, but her hands strong. Role-playing games? You know the one made by Fortress Accident. Does that count?
Answers? How strange. These days people only come to me for dice and role-playing games. I'm not sure how helpful I'll be, but go ahead and ask.
The walls around her are covered with rows of precious stones and minerals.
This person means you, or no one else, absolutely no harm. She will answer freely and honestly.
What do you know about the man who was lynched behind the whirling rags?
Nothing really. I didn't know him.
Who cares about the dead body? We might be dealing with a malignant entity here. The lieutenant looks at his notebook, then the woman under the large window.
Your window looks directly onto the courtyard. You're saying you didn't see or hear anything unusual last Sunday evening?
I'm sorry, Detective, but as you know, I usually have my headphones on when I'm working. It shuts out most of the daily ruckus behind my window.
What do you mean by the daily
Well,
ruckus?
there's always something going on in the Whirling's backyard.
She stops to try and come up with an example.
During daytime, there are usually those kids. And lately, I've been seeing a lot of drunk workers hanging about. Must be because of the strike. But I never saw anyone during that fateful Sunday night, I'm afraid.
Do you often work Sunday nights?
It's an odd profession, making dice for people. But I like it. And I prefer doing this to sitting at home.
And you never took your eyes off the work to look out the window?
I might have, but in this case, all I would have seen is my own reflection staring back from the darkness.
It's light here, but dark in the yard at night.
It's really hard to make anything out in the yard when it's dark outside. Besides, I rarely get up to look out the window when I'm in the zone.
I see. Thank you for your answers.
She nods.
Anything else, officer?
How did you become a dice maker?
How did I become one? It was a business decision. I was a regular jeweler at first, but that's an unfocused field with too much competition. Some of my friends were role players. They asked me to make some polyhedral dice out of cobalt. That was my first order. I grew it from there.
Do you like role-playing games yourself?
Not especially. I like working with rare materials and a steady pay. And role players as customers? They're nice people.
Hey, where are we anyway? What is this place?
We're inside the chimney of an old central furnace. It's strange, I know.
She looks at the ruddy bricks that make up the walls. Even though they've been repainted, there are still signs of coal-black soot here and there.
But when I arrived here, all the other rooms were taken, so I had to build myself a makeshift home. Besides, I don't really have to pay any rent here, so that's a plus.
Plaisance was right. There's an entity living in the chimney. You should ask her about the curse.
Creative.
Lieutenant looks around the spacious room, its ceiling fading into shadows above.
When she arrived here, there was no room anywhere else. She must have known the other businesses.
I've heard this place is cursed. Did you know anything that people called it the doomed commercial area?
I've heard the stories, but I don't think those stories are true.
As the wind howls in from the furnace shaft above, wait, how do you explain what happened to all those companies then?
It's just capitalism. We only hear about tales of success, so it's often surprising to realize how many ventures actually fail.
Plaisance is the one who sent me. She convinced me that the place was swarming with malicious energies.
Plaisance, the bookshop lady? I've heard that her business is doing rather well. Have the energies spared her somehow?
Actually, the bookstore isn't doing that well. There are hardly any customers. She has to exploit her own daughter to keep the company running. The curse is just biding its time before it strikes again. Sooner or later, everyone will fail, even her.
All right. But it's not just the bookstore that's still up and running. What about the whirling in rags? Some people say it's part of the building complex.
Hold on, the whirling is part of the doomed commercial area? Yes, but it's still a separate building. The malicious energies can't reach there. No, the whirling isn't doing well either. Its waitress just took off and customers have trouble paying bills. You're right, the whirling doesn't look like it's cursed.
You could say so. Both houses were built at the same time and under the east of the Commerce Central project. And then there is me.
She sighs, looking at her messy work table. All kinds of tools lie there scattered, from knives to carving files to wire cutters.
I've been here for 14 years, selling novelty dice to role-playing enthusiasts. Not exactly a million-real business idea, yet somehow I've survived despite the talk of malicious energies. Strange, isn't it?
Placence thinks it's because you're the source of a malignant entity.
Malignant entity? What does that even mean? Some kind of sorceress? What about you, officer? Do you think I'm the malignant entity?
Time has come to face the source. Fear not, for the forces of the universe are supporting you in this psychic quest.
Exactly. Truth is always so disappointingly mundane and boring. But I'm glad we got this sorted out. Anything else I can help you with today?
Plaisance is not going to like what you have to tell her.
Do you know what happened to the tenants? Everyone else is gone.
More or less. Are you interested in anyone specific?
Oh, quite a lot of them spring to mind.
There used to be a hair salon here, right?
Yes, I think it was called Androgynous Orlando or something similar. They weren't a big hit around here. Turns out that working class men don't like genderless haircuts. They're scared of that word.
You wouldn't like it either. The others would laugh at you. It's not about the haircut. It's about the confidence.
What's wrong with a bit of experimenting? The customers should have been more open-minded. I would never let anyone androgynous touch my hair, not even if my life depended on it. Guess I'm a simple man. I don't really have any opinions on hairstyles.
Me neither. I just want it off my face.
What happened to the gym?
It wasn't merely a gym, it was Artemiteps Boxing Club, a community project created to steer at-risk youth away from drugs and crime.
And who was Artemiteps?
A kind man from Zemsk. I heard he had some trouble with the law when he was younger, and that's why he wanted to start the gym, as his way of giving back.
Judging from the kids I've met so far, it didn't really work, did it?
It didn't. If anything, it made the youth situation in Martinez even worse. At some point, someone started a rumor that the punching bag downstairs was full of amphetamines.
Okay.
You should have known it. It's not really full of that. No one would store their drugs like that.
Eventually, the coalition took away the funding and the club went bankrupt. This was a few years ago. It's gotten much more peaceful around the plaza ever since.
What's up with the broken windows?
Oh, this one's a mess. There used to be a company that promised to repair windows 24 hours a day. What could go wrong with this one, right? Turns out, the business was actually set up as a front for an illicit group that was producing snuff milias. Who would have guessed? And they never cleaned up the debris either. Now it's just littering the hallway and I have no idea how to get rid of it on my own.
Cool, very cool about the debris. But what's a snuff? Okay. It's a shame about those windows. I'm not even going to ask about the...
It's a Sub Rosa radio station that broadcasts real murders with real victims. Some people pay good money to get off on it.
What does she mean, to get off on it?
Don't worry, the ICP has a separate division that deals exclusively with unlicensed sub-roses. This isn't our problem.
Good luck with that. It's not easy catching those perpetrators.
Someone here makes stuffed animals. I saw mounts lying around.
You mean Mr. Fabron, the taxidermist? No, he mostly just did drugs.
But what drugs exactly?
I need to know what drugs he was doing for my police report.
He got high on some weird taxidermy chemicals.
Oh.
I wouldn't recommend it to anyone. Eventually, they caused him to lose control of his bladder. The smell was awful.
Oh.
Even you can probably do better than that.
I found creepy mannequins.
There used to be a fashion atelier here, but I have forgotten the head designer's name. They were doing well for a couple of years, until the insect rights activists came.
Insect rights activists? What in the name of?
Mm-hmm. The atelier produced a certain collection that used chitin among the materials. Apparently chitin is made in the Occident, where it's extracted from beetle wings. And you know how all kinds of political movements are big in the Occident. The activists shut down the biggest chitin supplier, which of course caused the price to skyrocket. And, naturally, all the most fashionable tastemakers refused to be seen in chitin from then on. The atelier went bankrupt before they could finish the collection.
I'm glad someone took care of the little guys. I like insects, but insects don't have any brains or feelings. They got what they deserve. Making clothes out of beetle wings is a terrible idea.
Really? Anyway.
She looks at the windowsill where a dead fly is lying on its back, legs curled up in a bow tie. Anyway. What's with the rotor blades and skis?
They were made by a company called Slipstream. After they pivoted from making rotor blades to skis, their chief executive took off on a vacation with all their money.
She rests her chin on her hand with an impish smile.
Honestly, I think it's quite funny. I think he's still sending out holiday transmissions from Tulula or Tiumotiri or Hashtkor or wherever he is.
Interesting. What do these transmissions say?
The usual, I imagine. That he's been thinking up all kinds of new business plans and can't wait to get started on them just as soon as he returns.
Her smile widens before she sees the lieutenant's face behind you.
Men like that are a curse.
The lieutenant is stern.
Sure, but Slipstream is history now. All their remaining assets got seized by the bailiffs in 47. I have no idea why those skis and blades are still lying around in the house. Not much use now, I guess.
They were just props. Why return them? Maybe you could make a sword out of one. No, wait, forget it. It would take too long.
Okay. I found a strange machine.
Fortress Accident, the radio game studio.
She closes her eyes as some remnant of a memory lightens up her face.
They were an interesting bunch. We talked about role-playing systems every now and then. Once, I even saw two of them get into fisticuffs over Wiro. They certainly took their work very seriously, even if they seemed to be chronically liberal with their schedules.
What do you mean, liberal? What happened?
The usual. They ran out of money and couldn't get the project done on time.
What went wrong?
Well, I did hear them talking at times.
She looks at the hallway as if she can still hear them chit-chat behind her, curtains on a cigarette break.
They seemed to believe they were historical individuals on some grand quest.
From what I've seen so far, the project did look quite impressive. Really, they must have been on a gigantic ego trip.
Yes, but when the money started to run out, they just began to complain a lot about capitalism. You know, how the markets are rigged to keep out new businesses and so on. In the end, they just didn't get it done. They didn't have enough willpower to produce something truly historic, and to show up to work on time.
She's right. Showing up to work on time is important. Showing up to work on time is hard. No, scratch that. Showing up to work at all is difficult, especially if you've been drinking.
Well, showing up to work on time is incredibly hard. That's too bad. I would have supported them. The project looked great. You're right. They should have tried harder. They had everything needed to succeed.
Not the wisest decision. You would have lost all your savings.
She tosses a pair of dice on the table. One of them stops near the edge of the metallic desk.
The result is 1 on a 20-sided die. The dice is black and filled with little silvery flakes, like snowfall.
Anything else?
There was a terrifying taxidermied bear in the cellar.
Oh boy, the fabled Revachol ICT. You're in for a treat here.
She smiles and leans closer, hands on her knees, like a stand-up comedian ready to tell a story.
The place was owned by two guys who had some rather innovative ideas about marketing. The bear was one of them. Now ask me about their other ideas.
Alright, what about the other ideas?
There was really just one, and it involved picking out the prettiest girls in the neighborhood and paying them 20 cents per hour to man the booth. And by man the booth, I mean slump behind the counter with a face that could maim you if you ever dared to disturb their bored magazine browsing.
She leans back disapproving.
Sounds like she really didn't like those girls. Fritta does the same thing.
I know a girl just like that works in the Freet as a cashier, and she's not particularly friendly. What did they expect? 20 cents per hour is dogs, but I'm surprised they showed up to work at all. That's an award-winning idea. How else do you choose people around you? I don't have an opinion on employing teams. I just want to know, did it work out for their business?
Employing silky teenage girls is a widespread practice, yes. Unfortunately, they always come in packs. I'm talking about acne-ridden girlfriends and gorilla-like boyfriends loitering near the shop. At least that's what happened with Ravachol ICT. And they already had the bear.
She closes her eyes as if remembering something painful. What about the bear?
The bear.
She repeats, pressing thumbs into her temples, like trying to suppress a headache. It didn't work out.
Of course not. The bear was terrifying. No one wants ice cream guarded by a hostile apex predator. To make matters worse, the fridge didn't work too well either, and half the ice cream came out malformed and partially melted. Eventually, Ravachol ICT lost the price war to its rival, Glace 5000. Glace 5000 sold caramel sundaes for only 5 cents a piece, out of regular fridges. The taxidermist who made it said it was his vision beast. He said he met his vision beast while high on desiccants. He called it Megatherion. Megatherion, a mega wild beast. It's an imaginary beast that guides you through life by telling you to do more drugs, mostly.
Maybe this wise and noble beast can guide you toward those amphetamines you've been craving.
What?
Do you? Well, good luck keeping it under control. Anyway, now you know the story of the fallen ice cream empire.
She seems almost sad, finishing the story as some dust beams swirl in the afternoon air. Her eyes follow it idly.
Little sparkling embers under the window.
Anything else? Another failed business, perhaps? I've been here for a long time.
I found the building's intercom, but it's not working.
Oh, right. I hope you didn't try to ring me.
She rubs her forehead. Her scarf has left a faint line on her dusty skin. I hope you didn't try to ring me.
I think none of those doorbells work, including mine. I'm still in the middle of connecting the wires. Sorry about the confusion.
The doorbell with the empty name card must belong to her then.
So you're telling me that the doorbell with the empty name card was yours?
That's right. I haven't even written my name there. As I said, it's quite useless right now. It doesn't work yet.
I was wondering about the whirling in rags. Is it part of the same building complex?
You could say so. Both houses were built at the same time and under the East Delta.
If the whirling is part of the same building, then it's part of the Dune commercial area. The darkness of this place is there, too.
I saw a name on East Delta Pinball on the doorbell.
Right. It used to be a gaming arcade. This is an ancient failure, before my time. I'm not surprised, however. My advice? Don't base your business on a fad. Hypnotism, floriography, trick-track, especially pinball.
Agreed. Pinball is the worst.
Strange thing happened when I tried calling the company name Slipstream SCA. Someone answered.
It can't be true. They don't work here anymore. They've been gone for years. Are you sure it was Slipstream SCA? Was it a woman? Maybe it was Plaisance from the bookstore.
She said she was from Tricentennial Electrics.
Tricentennial Electrics? It used to be a major electric company 100 years ago. Are you sure it wasn't just some kids playing a prank on you?
No, it was something else. It was eerie. Whatever happened, keep your cool. It's probably better to admit that it was a harmless prank.
A prank is more likely, no? Oh, the kids these days. We were just one of them, and now they're terrorizing us. No solidarity. Sure, I'm listening.
Let's see.
Fortress Accident, the radio game studio. They were an interesting but they certainly took their work very seriously. The usual, they ran out of money and couldn't get... Well, I did hear them talking. They seemed to believe they were historical individuals on some grand quest.
Really, they must have been on a gigantic ego trip.
That's what I thought. Because when the money started to run out, they just began to complain a lot about capitalism. In the end, they just didn't get it done. They didn't have enough willpower to produce something truly historic. And to show up to work on time.
She's right. Showing up to work on time is hard. No, scratch that. Showing up to work at all is difficult. Especially if you've been drinking.
Still, not everyone is going to make it. That's the nature of the game.
The result is 1. The dice is black and fit.
Anything else? Fortress Accident. They were an interest. They certainly took their work.
Trying to
the
see
usual.
if I can get a
they ran out.
different
Well,
result.
I did. They seemed to believe they were historical individuals on some grand quest. Yes, but when in the end they just...
She's right. Showing up to work on time is...
And so is producing something extraordinary.
Rise wanders their shelves full of die prototypes and discarded models.
Anything else?
Actually, I had another
Good.
question.
I hope it clarified things a bit. What else?
8%. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, I'd like to order dye from you.
Of course. Tell me what you have in mind.
You know the world untethered setting. I want a dye for that. Do you have any cursed dye? Tell me about... let's go with the first one.
Ah, yes. Fortress Accident. It's too bad they never finished their game. The Wiro Untethered die is a variation of a standard role-playing die. Only, instead of plants, it uses motifs of ice and death. And loss, of course. I'm thinking something made from alligator jawbone, cast in black resin. The reptile bone is as white as ice, and dead as, well, death. For 7 real, I could have it ready in 8 hours.
What's the standard role-playing
It's
die?
an icositetrahedron, a 24-sided die that can produce results for 2-sided, 3-sided, 4-sided, 6-sided, and 12-sided die with a single roll. Technically, you can also use it for many other sizes, but you may need to reroll results.
Loving it. So nifty.
Why do you need to cast it in resin?
Untreated bone is porous and prone to chipping. Cast it in something hard like resin though, and voila, it's perfect.
I should maybe get a different one.
Maybe you have some other ideas for dice?
Do you have any cursed dice?
What do you mean by cursed? Alright, how about I surprise you? Come back in 8 hours with 7 real, and I'll give you your cursed die. Maybe you have some other ideas for dice?
Tell me about your most extraordinary die.
A star that fell from the firmament? Those cost more than 7 real. Are you sure?
Yes, I'm a star, a superstar, and superstars don't care about money.
Yes, you definitely have the proper attitude. How about a pair of 100-sided dice, made of ivory and inlaid with lodestone, a naturally occurring magnet, to complement your magnetic personality? 10 real, and I can get these ready in 8 hours.
But do magic dice even roll properly?
It's true, magnetic dice are definitely different. When rolled together, the magnetic fields of the pips interact with each other to push and pull on each other as they're rolled, just like all magnetic personalities do. Maybe you have some other ideas for dice?
Looking for something to help with my work.
I think I have just the right one for you.
She opens the top drawer of her work desk and takes something out. 2 polyhedrons, red and blue, are cradled in her
Police
palm.
colors.
Because I'm a police officer.
Not the most original, I know, but sometimes the obvious choice is obvious because it's best. Here, catch. They're a gift from me.
A beautiful woman tossing you a gift. Whatever you do, don't overthink it. Mr. Smooth moves. You snatch the dice out of the air with one hand, just like you're in a movie.
Wink at the dice maker.
Oh, what are the odds? The red one is made of bloodstone with a lapis lazuli inlay, and the blue one is the inverse. I believe these dice are your lucky charm, officer.
She winked back at you. Can you believe it? You truly are Mr. Smooth Moves.
You'll definitely need luck in Martinez. Was there anything else?
As you turn, a bright light catches your eye, making you squint.
Where's it coming from?
From a distant sunset, a stage light, flash photography, nowhere in particular. It's just what superstar law officers do. They squint at lights, and they solve shit.
Actually, now that I hear superstar and law official in the sentence, they sound weird together. Yeah, that's me. I've been establishing my superstardom hard lately.
What are you, deaf? They're perfect, like rock star politician and drug addict teacher. Embrace the superstardom you've worked so hard to establish.
All right.
Yeah, you have. You're a big dick cop, Dick Mullen, Salem Rocky Baye, badass on the edge disco cop. Time to recede into a ludicrous fantasy world. Here we go. Camera, lights.
Wait, what's that about a ludicrous fantasy world?
Yeah, you know. Beneath it is just heartbreak, a pulmonary tract infection, atherosclerotic disease. This is where you say action and reconceptualize all that. Reinvent it as the world's first celebrity police officer. With a sudden flash, the world freezes around you, and you along with it. In an iconic monochrome solution, a black silhouette against a rasterized orange world. It's on.
Okay.
What have you found? And also, do buy the books. There may be teachings in them. A novelty dice maker? Well, spit it out. Why does she need the dice? For some kind of sorcery? Sometimes they use the ankle bones of sheep.
Not a sorceress or some malicious entity. She's a businesswoman like you.
I don't understand. If it's not her, then where is the source of the doom? How did she explain the curse?
She looks perplexed.
Before you say anything, ask yourself, is the woman really able to withstand the truth? The narrative she's built herself, it does need tearing down. She's squeezing on the pendant too tight. A drop of blood in her palm. Just don't say you don't have any answer yet. The uncertainty is killing her.
She says there's no curse because there are too many inconsistencies. She said it's just capitalism, bankruptcy is the quirk of our economic system. The source is in the taxidermist shop. He became involved in arts darker than taxidermy and brought the void spirits down upon this place. Honestly, I don't have an answer. Yet there are still leads to be followed, like the strange radio computer thing. There's another entity, more malignant, pulling the strings in Martinez. Perhaps in my travels I will cross paths with it.
You're telling me that you went in there and didn't find out anything about the curse? Of course. I should have known better than to put my hopes on a man like you. You're no Simonese ghost whisperer. You're an alcoholic. The investigation's over. I don't want you going in there anymore. You're only angering the psychic weather in here. Now, if you're not going to buy anything...
Wow. Total psychic collapse between you two right now.
I am sorry we had to disappoint you, ma'am. Can we go now?
Alright, this is where I'm going to end my stream. Thanks for watching. I hope you have a great day. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe depending on what platform you're watching on. And I hope you have a great day.